to this stage of the tournament a couple of times. When you start out with 30-some teams, it's got to seem like a long road. Does it help you focus a little bit when you get down to these final 6 or so?
Well, this tournament is so long that, you play on an everyday basis that it gets to a point where, your pitching starts to get thin. And I think for El Dorado, they haven't used much pitching. So I think overall they look the best in the tournament. But it gets to a point where you're playing every day, so, it's just like summer ball. I mean, it's a great time, and you look forward to the championship, and they're almost there.
So the El Dorado Broncos, the Kenai Peninsula Oilers, will be back with the starting lineups in 90 seconds. Back at Lawrence Dumont Stadium, here are the starting lineups for tonight's game between the El Dorado Broncos, will be the visiting team tonight, and the Kenai Peninsula Oilers. The Broncos are 40-22 on the year, 5-0 in the tournament, while the Oilers have a record of 4-1 in this tournament. For the Broncos, Kevin Hooper leads off at second base. Jeremy Troutman will bat second in right field. Dave Bacani hitting third at shortstop. Batting cleanup at first base, Greer Jones. Batting fifth as the DH, Sam Scott. Terry Elliott will be batting sixth and catching. Mike Pumo in left field hitting seventh. Jason Espito at third base bats eighth. Batting ninth in center field, Lou Ford. And on the mound tonight from Biola College in California, Ben Orr going for his second win of the tournament. For Kenai, it will be Brad Henderson leading off at second base. Jeremy Johnson hitting second in right field. Mike Cervenik at third base bats third, and Paul Lockhart will be the left fielder batting fourth. Batting fifth as the designated hitter, Chris Circuit. Batting sixth at shortstop, Scott Candelaria. Hitting seventh in center field, Phil Downing. Mike Seastead is the catcher, batting eighth. Jared Pitney at first base, batting ninth. And the starting pitcher for the Peninsula Oilers, Kenny Baugh, a sophomore to be at the university, or at Rice University in Houston. 6'3", 185-pounder, tall, lanky right-hander, who, as a freshman this past spring for Rice, was 4-2 in 15 appearances with a 5.79 ERA. This summer for the Oilers, 3-3 coming into the tournament. He picked up a second-round win over Topeka on August the 8th. In that ball game, Ball went 5+ innings. He allowed 6 hits in 5 2/3, 3 runs all earned with 3 walks and 6 strikeouts. So he's 1-0 in the tournament with a 4.76 ERA. And he will be facing Kevin Hooper, Jeremy Troutman, and Dave Picani. Again, Steve Forrell alongside tonight. And Steve, this is a Broncos lineup that doesn't have a classic 3-hole hitter, but basically 3 table setters at the top. And these are 3 tough, patient hitters that can cause you a lot of problems.
With what I've seen, with the Broncos this summer, and especially in this tournament, Kevin Hooper set the table. Jeremy, batting second hole, he's getting on base. These, they don't have a lot of power guys, but they have guys that are scrappy, and Kevin set the table for the whole team.
And the first pitch of the ball game from Baugh to Hooper is high for ball one. The characteristic hoops rang out as Kevin was announced, and a pretty good crowd on hand. We started with a fairly small crowd as Nevada and Clarinda played through the rain earlier this evening, a strike call, and it's 1-1. In that ball game, Nevada rallied late to edge Clarinda 7-6. We'll give you some of the details as we have time. It's 1-1 to Hooper, and Kenny Baugh's next pitch off speed and high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Nevada and Clarinda battled into the 8th, with Clarinda leading 2-1. Then the A's scored 4 in the 8th and appeared to have the game in hand 6-1. Hooper fouls one off to the right, and it's 2-2. Nevada came back to score 3 in the 8th and cut it to 6-4. It stayed that way going into the bottom of the 9th, and then with 2 outs, Brian Feast with a 2-run double tied the game. Robert Judon, a pitcher, pinch running for him, then scored on Eric Cameron's single on a bang-bang play at the plate to win it for Nevada 7-6. And Hooper sends a grounder to short. Scott Candelaria throws him out. 1 gone in the first for the Broncos. That'll bring up Jeremy Troutman. He has played in right field throughout the tournament for the Broncos and has done a fine job there and is hitting .444 on 8 for 18. No homers, 6 runs batted in, and 6 runs scored through 5 ball games. He takes low and inside for ball 1. Kenny Baugh, a 2.49 ERA and 47 innings of work in the Alaska League this summer. High foul backing out of play, and it's 1-1. Steve, you played in Alaska. Would you characterize it as a pretty good pitcher's league? And, of course, they have gone to wood bats now. which used to be an aluminum league until just recently.
Yeah, a couple years ago, the pitching was thin because of the aluminum bat. I mean, I struggled up there. A lot of guys struggled that were good Division I pitchers. The wooden bat changes everything, and I think as far as Kenai goes, they've always had a solid team, and they have one again this year.
Swing and a miss by Troutman puts the count at 1-2. 1 out, nobody aboard here in the first, and Baugh has shown some ability early to change speed. The 1-2 from the big right-hander is low. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Mike, the pitchers tonight, they have to realize Bobby Homolka is behind the plate, and one of the keys of Homolka is he's always had a big zone. If you want to throw strikes and you know how to pitch, he'll call it for you, so they need to work with him.
Pitch low and outside, 3-2. Would you say he, as much as anybody, and most umpires are this way, is kind of a rhythm guy? If you kind of get in a flow with him, he'll stay with you, but if you're all over the place, it'll be tougher to get called.
Oh, most definitely.
3-2 on the way, and a tap foul off the plate. The count stays full to Troutman.
He's the type of umpire a lot of people see with Greg Maddox. I mean, with Greg Maddox, he's working the plate so well that umpires get in a rhythm with him. That's the same thing with Bobby. If you get in a rhythm with him and you're throwing strikes, he'll call strikes for you.
3-2, bounce to the right side. The first baseman, Pitney, to his right. Ball will cover, and they handle it nicely to get the out. Troutman retired from the first baseman to the pitcher covering. You mentioned Kenai's always had a pretty solid club, and that's one area. They usually execute well, handle all the basic plays pretty well.
Yeah, when I was up there with Anchorage a couple years ago, they did, the little things they did really well. They always gave us fits because they weren't a real powerful team, and I don't think they are again this year, but they're just scrappy. They do the little things right, good defense, and they get guys on base and score runs.
Dave Bacani, the Broncos shortstop, takes the strike down around the knees, 0-1. Dave's been in the 330s pretty much all summer. Just 222, though, in this tournament on 4 for 18. He has driven in a couple of runs. The 0-1 takes the strike again, 0-2. And so far, Baugh showing an ability to throw 3 pitches for a strike.
And that's the key. You want to come out, you want to throw, the change-up, the fastball, and the curve. Show the hitters you can throw it for a strike, because then the rest of the game, that gets in the back of the hitter's mind.
0-2 to Bacani, struck him out swinging. Kenny Baugh with a good first. Retires the side in order on 2 ground balls and a strikeout. The Broncos go 1-2-3, and after a half inning, El Dorado 0. Kenai coming to bat. Mike Kennedy and Steve Forl at Lawrence Dumont Stadium, and Bill Knowles keeping us straight back at the studio. We head into the bottom of the first inning, and to the mound for the Broncos is Ben Orr, or a left-hander, 6'1", 175-pounder. He'll be a junior at Biola, an NAIA program in California this coming year, 1-0 in the tournament. His first pitch to Brad Henderson, over for strike 1 call. Henderson hitting .278 in the tournament on 5 for 18. Right-handed hitter out of the University of Mississippi, where he'll be a senior next year. The 0-1, way inside with the fastball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Ben Orr's previous outing was against the Hartselle, Alabama Expos. He threw a 5-inning 5-hitter in a 12-1 run rule win by the Broncos. Sharp ground ball by the diving third baseman Jason Espito and into left field for a base hit. So there's the first base runner. The Broncos went in order. Brad Henderson leads off with a quick single for Kenai. We talked after the game last night, Steve, that it's tough sometimes. You get all the way through the bracket and you go to 5-0. It's almost like you've won something, and to come back and play this one the next night can be a little bit of a letdown almost.
Yeah, most definitely. When you're playing well and you're winning, especially with the Broncos being undefeated, a game like this to eliminate Kenai, lackadaisical. It happens a lot, and hopefully they can come through tonight.
There's a breaking ball in there for a strike to Jeremy Johnson, 0-1. Johnson out of Southeast Missouri State had a big spring for the Indians and then has had a very good summer for Kenai, but has struggled in the tournament. 3 for 21, 143. Left-handed hitter with good speed. The 0-1 to him. Breaking ball over at the letters for a strike, 0-2. Johnson has been a good tournament player. Last year playing here for Cape Girardeau, he was 7th in the tournament in hitting at 471. Then was the most valuable player of the Ohio Valley Conference tournament this spring for Southeast Missouri State. The 0-2 struck him out on an off-speed breaking ball. Good sequence of pitches by Orr, and he gets the first out here in the bottom of the first inning.
Great curveball outside corner, but I think what I see from Orr so far is he holds runners well. Real nice, easy leg kick, freezes the runner. That's the biggest key. They're not going to get a good jump at first, and then the next one, 0-2 pitch outside. He saw the curveball for a strike earlier. He made him swing for the pitch outside.
1 out, a runner at first. Mike Cervinick, the third baseman, up from the right side. And a move over to first. You mentioned holding the runners, and we had heard a lot about Kenai being a very aggressive base-running team. That's a characteristic of Scott Marr's managing, but they're only 4 for 8 so far in the tournament. Stretched by Orr. Pretty good lead by Henderson at first. He is 0 for 1 in this tournament. And a good breaking ball in there again for strike one call to Cervenik.
Mike kind of has a move like, if people know Wichita State baseball, like a Jeremy Troutman, a very slow leg kick. The runner can't see it until he goes to the plate. So if they're gonna try to run him, it's going to be either first movement or they're going to be late.
Fastball that time, just missed inside, but a good pitch coming in tight on the right-handed hitter. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kenai hitting a somewhat modest .291 as a team, and only 3 of their players who have been in there on pretty much an everyday basis are hitting .300 or better. Cervenik is the third of those, right at .300 on 6 for 20. Pretty good move to first. The runner dives back. Orr's move is a little bit deceptive. It's not real quick over to first, and he almost had Henderson cruel for a moment, but Henderson got back. Once again, he leads away, the front foot out just at the edge of the sliding pit. Another throw over, this time a little harder move, and the runner back standing up. 0-0 ball game, bottom of the first inning. We are just underway, about an hour late because of rain delays earlier. The first game was actually a fairly quick game. The pitch off the handle, could be trouble into shallow center field, but Lou Ford will get there for the out. That ball actually carried a little better than it looked like it would coming off the bat, and Ford gets a good jump in center field.
It was a good pitch by Orr. You know, a good fastball in the inside corner. With the aluminum bat, it's hard to pick up, you know, how hard the ball is hit, but nice play by the center fielder, but a good pitch to get inside. He's really dominated the play so far. He's throwing the curveball inside, he's throwing on the back door, and he's throwing the pitches where he wants to, and that's the key to set the tone for the Broncos.
Paul Lockhart will be the hitter, and he really has been the clutch guy for this Kenai team so far in the tournament. Last night, after losing their first game, they came back from the loss to Nevada to pick up a big win over Tacoma. He drove in 5 of their 6 runs with a 2-run double and a 3-run homer for the tournament, hitting .438 on 7 for 16 with a home run and 8 runs batted in 5 games. Stretched by Orr, and a move to first base. The runner dives back. Last time, or one of the last time, not the last time, but one of the times Steve Foyle has worked with me previously, Paul Lockhart was in the game. He plays for San Diego State, faced the Shockers this spring out in San Diego. Another move to first by Orr, the runner back, and he will be coming back here again this coming spring. San Diego State, or next year, I can't remember. San Diego State is due to return that series to Wichita either this spring or the next. Lockhart from Bellingham, Washington, will be a junior at San Diego State. Orr to the plate, fouled straight back, and the count to Lockhart, 0-1. Paul Lockhart, 6 feet, 195-pounder, made a big jump this spring for San Diego State. He only hit .243 in 51 games as a freshman. Improved that to .345, an improvement of 112 points on his batting average from one season to the next. Move to first, runner back. All right, it's 102 points. Don't any of you math majors call me. But a big jump, 102 points in 1 year is a heck of an improvement. A switch hitter batting from the right side against the left-hander Orr, and Orr has been very diligent about keeping the runners close at first base. Henderson with a leadoff single has been unable to get any kind of jump, and now there are 2 gone in the inning. Lockhart bats with a count of 0-1. Orr's pitch, swing and a miss, another good breaking ball, and he's got a big slow breaking ball that the Kenai hitters are just practically falling off balance, taking cuts at. 0-2 to Paul Lockhart. Kenai won its first 3 games in the tournament, then got shut out 2 nights ago by Nevada and Bradley's Rob Purvis. There's a check swing. That's in there for strike 3 call. And Ben Orr with a very good first inning after the leadoff single. He strikes out 2, and it's no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 1, we are scoreless in this quarterfinal game between El Dorado and Kenai. We go to the top of the second inning here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. 0-0, El Dorado and Kenai. One of our listeners just called to ask about the availability of any free tickets for tonight's session, and there are none. We might mention, however, that for tomorrow night's semifinals, there are certificates available at Wendy's that are good for $1 off the admission price. And for the championship game on Friday night, there are a limited number of free general admission tickets at Howard's Optical locations, although they are only there while they last. 1-0 count to Greer Jones as he took high while I was talking. Takes low now from Kenny Baugh, 2-0. Greer hitting .500 in the tournament on 9 for 18 with 1 home run and 10 runs batted in. Ball back to work, the 2-0. Fastball just a little bit low, 3-0. Ball had a 1-2-3 first, getting a couple of ground balls and a strikeout, but did go to a couple of long counts, 2-2 on Kevin Hooper, 3-2 on Jeremy Troutman before getting them. The right-hander winds, the 3-0 to Jones. That's over for a strike, 3-1. Greer Jones had a couple of big hits last night, won a misplayed double that drove in the last couple of runs for the Broncos and gave them their final cushion in the 9-5 win over Nevada. Got fisted there, a little roller to short. Scott Candelaria throws it in the dirt, and Jared Pitney can't come up with it. Candelaria's done that a couple of times previously in the tournament. He fielded it, had plenty of time to throw, and then just kind of guided it over there a little nonchalantly, and Pitney couldn't quite pick it out of the dirt.
Mike, it seemed he had plenty of time to throw. Greer's not the fastest guy in the world, so it seemed like he rushed his throw, and the first baseman just couldn't dig it out.
That is the 4th error of the tournament in 6 games for Scott Candelaria at shortstop. And that opens the door a little bit for the Broncos. Jones on first with nobody out for Sam Scott, as Sam takes high for ball 1. Once again, with the rain, we have actually very pleasant conditions now, 75 degrees here at the ballpark. The sky has started to clear up a little bit as we got set for this one, and there is absolutely no wind whatsoever. Throw to first base, Jones back standing up. Seems like throughout the tournament, with a couple of exceptions, we have had relatively mild temperatures for August, and the wind has either been blowing in or not blowing at all, as opposed to galing out to left at 25 miles an hour. There's a strike call on the outside corner, and the count to Sam Scott levels off at 1-1.
Mike, we talked about, when you get deeper more and more into this tournament, normally the weather plays into it. I mean, it's normally 100 degrees. I remember last year, mostly every day was 100, and this year it's been seasonable, and that helps, especially for a long tournament like this. Foul back, that'll roll up the screen just to our left, and the count goes to 1-2. Sam Scott having a good solid tournament, 6 for 17, 353, with 1 home run and 3 runs batted in. He had a couple of hits last night in the win over Nevada. The Broncos, the last unbeaten team in the tournament. Kenai trying to knock them off that perch and create a 4-team, 2-game semifinal round tomorrow night. Stretched by Kenny Baugh, the 2-1. Pretty good pitch, just missed down and in. Hard stuff, evens it up at 2-2. There are 5 teams left in the tournament at the moment. 1 more will be eliminated later tonight when the Liberal BJs take on the Dallas Sox, both 4-1 going in. Kenai will be eliminated if they lose this one. Bouncer to short, could be 2 if they hurry. Down to second 1, Candelaria back to first, and they get the double play. A good job by the second baseman, Henderson, to get rid of that ball quickly because it was not hit very sharply. Greer was really hustling down to second base and really trying to cut the second baseman out. Great play by the shortstop to get rid of it and get the wrestling guy going down first.
Here is Terry Elliott, who is still walking upright after getting nailed in that collision at home plate last night. He comes in hitting .400 for the tournament on 8 for 20 with 5 runs batted in. Up from the right side with 2 outs and the bases cleared. Kenny Baugh's breaking balls over for a strike. There are a number of awards in addition to the all-tournament team that are presented every year at this tournament. Terry took home 2 of them before the game for individual sportsmanship and as the outstanding local player. Takes high, 1 ball and 1 strike. And I know that everybody voting last night put him down for the outstanding defensive play, which will be awarded later for the play at the plate in the 7th inning. Ground ball to second should end it. Brad Henderson has it. Little flip to first. Elliott and the Broncos retired in the second. Baugh pitches around a leadoff error. No runs, no hits, and 1 error. Nobody left. After 1.5, it's 0-0. Bottom of the second inning in this NBC World Series feature game, and it is the, 3rd from last feature game of the tournament. We'll have the semifinal round for you tomorrow night, and then the championship game on Friday as things wind down here in the 64th NBC World Series. Chris Circuit DHing and batting 5th. Leads off for Kenai in the second against left-hander Ben Orr. He takes high for ball 1. Orr very solid in the first, gave up a leadoff single, but then struck out 2 of the next 3. Left the runner stranded at first base, and we've got a scoreless ball game through 1.5. Chris Circuit has played intermittently for Kenai, 3 for 6. He hits a fly ball down the right field line, and a nice running catch by Jeremy Troutman. Jeremy Troutman, whether it's at the plate, on the mound, or somewhere in the field, first base of the outfield, just finds a way to get things done. He is not a great athlete, but he's a player.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. He's a player. He goes that every day, and he does the little things that are needed. You know, this spring for the Shocks, he'd come in and pitch for us. We need him in the outfield, first base, whatever. He just does it all. He's just awesome to watch.
Here is Scott Candelaria, the shortstop. Showed bunt, takes inside for ball one. The pitch almost hit him. Candelaria has struggled a little, as we mentioned, in the field of the tournament, but he has hit the ball well. 7 for 17, 412 with 3 runs batted in. Fouls this one behind first, and it's 1-1. Candelaria out of the University of New Mexico. He will be a sophomore there next year, and is from the home city of New Mexico, Albuquerque. 6'2", 175-pounder. A little soft liner down the left field line. Orr brought that one way in on his hands and took something off, and Candelaria way out in front just hit a very soft liner off the handle down the left field foul line. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. And Orr's pitch, fastball, struck him out, and that was just a matter of sneaking one by him on the outside corner after setting him up with the soft stuff.
Mike, that's exactly what a soft curveball does. Is it, when you come in on a soft curveball, get on your hands, you see a fastball away, he just nonchalant swung at it, and 2 down.
Now Mike Seastead, the catcher, he'll be up from the left side. Excuse me, this is Phil Downing, the center fielder, who will be up there. Seastead is next. The first pitch to the left-handed hitter, high and inside for ball 1. Downing has struggled in this tournament, 3 for 14 with 8 strikeouts in 14 at-bats. He has driven in 2 runs. He has walked 6 times, so he has a pretty good on-base percentage. He takes high and inside, and it's 2-0. Downing is from the University of Southern Utah, where he'll be a junior, left-handed all the way. Hit 400 this spring. Foul out of play to the left side, 2-1. And Downing, coming into the NBC World Series, had hit .327 in 45 games for the Oilers, leading them in runs, stolen bases, and with 36 walks. The wind by Orr, and the 2-1. High drive toward left center, slicing back toward the left fielder, and Mike Pumo will make the catch for out number 3. Both pitchers have been solid through the first 2 innings. Kenai up and down in order in the second, and after 2 it remains. El Dorado nothing, Kenai nothing. Top of the third, no score, and in fact just 1 base runner for each team. Nevada had a leadoff single by Kenai, had a leadoff single by Brad Henderson in the first, and for the El Dorado Broncos, Greer Jones has been the only base runner on an error by the shortstop. Mike Pumo, Jason Espito, and Lou Ford in the third, the bottom 3 in the order. And the first pitch, a little bit low for ball 1. Mike Pumo, 250 in the tournament, 4 for 16 with 2 runs batted in. Right-handed hitting outfielder, headed for the University of Texas out of Navarro Junior College. Takes low. 2 balls and no strikes. There are 3 players on the Dallas Sox in addition to Pumo, who are all transferring from Navarro to the University of Texas this fall. Here's another one in the dirt, and Kenny Baugh falls behind 3-0. This is the way he has started every inning. He went 2-0 on Hooper in the first, came back to get him on a ground ball on a 2-2 pitch, went 3-0 on Greer Jones. Greer eventually reached on an error, and now the 3-0 to Mike Pumo. That's high for ball 4. Ball walks the leadoff man on 4 pitches. Pumo trots to first, and the batter will be Jason Espito. These 2 have been teammates this summer and will continue to be in Austin, Texas this coming year. Espito will be a sophomore there, and he's having a big tournament for the Broncos. 556 on 10 for 18, 2 doubles, a triple, and 2 homers. And there's a drive well hit to right field. If it's high enough, it's out of here. It is gone. I believe between the 2 levels of fences. Hit the second tier and fell in between them. Espito takes over the tournament home run lead with his 3rd, and the Broncos lead it 2-0 here in the 3rd inning.
You know, Mike, it's just a matter of time. If you get behind guys, get guys on base by walking them, it's going to come back to haunt you. He's gotten through the first 2 innings, allowing the leadoff guy, by throwing certain pitches where he doesn't want to. And first pitch fastball, he knows it's coming, and he took it over the short portion right.
Espito, with his 3rd homer of the tournament, has driven in 8 and scored 10 now, and the Broncos lead 2-0. Lou Ford takes a fastball for a strike on the inside corner. Ford hitting .294 in the tournament on 5 for 17. He has driven in 3 and scored 5. has good speed from the right side of the plate. And he hits this one hard on the ground. A diving stop by Pitney, the first baseman. He'll race into the bag. Close play. He is out. And Ford, okay, I thought he might have hurt himself. He kind of landed on the bag awkwardly as he kind of went in and stabbed at the bag as he finished up, trying to duck a possible tag by the first baseman.
Beautiful play right there. Hard hit ball to the right of the first baseman, and Pitney made a great play. Ford extremely fast and good hustle to get to the bag and get the out.
One out on the batter, Kevin Hooper. He takes the strike at the knees. Kevin grounded to short his first time up. 333 now in the tournament. Threw that at bat on 7 for 21. Takes an off-speed pitch high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hooper's done a typically good job in the leadoff spot, working the counts, getting on. He's walked 3 times in addition to 7 hits, a foul back, and the count 1-2. So he has averaged just about 2 times on base per game. 1 out, base is clear, but 2 runs home for the Broncos in the third to take the early lead. And Hooper hits it high in the air to left center field, drifting back a few steps, downing the center fielder, and he makes the catch for the out. Bill Downing tracks down the fly ball from Kevin Hooper in just beyond medium left center. 2 down, and the batter, Jeremy Troutman. Troutman grounded to first, his first time up. Still above 400 in the tournament on 8 for 19. A line by Kenny Baugh on the first pitch, and he takes a strike down and in. Jeremy Troutman hit 467 in this event 2 years ago, and he was the tournament's most valuable player. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Ruled him on a breaking ball in the dirt, 0-2. And you won't see Jeremy Troutman look that bad very often. Baugh starting to get ahead of the hitters again since giving up the 2-run homer to Espito. The 0-2 pitch. Fastball bounced up the first baseline, foul. Not a bad 0-2 pitch. It was down in the strike zone, but Troutman almost put it in play right down the line.
You know, Mike, it is so important to get ahead. I mean, it changes the whole at bat when you get 0-1, you get 0-2, 1-2. When you get behind, like when Espito hit the home run, things happen. Bad things will happen if you get behind. Now he's ahead, and now.
And he got him on a change in the dirt. Troutman swinging and missing. They have to throw him out at first, and the side retired. Case in point, what Steve was just talking about. In the inning, though, 2 runs on 1 hit. The 2-run homer by Jason Espito. There were no errors, nobody left on base. And after 2.5, it's now the El Dorado Broncos leading Kenai 2-0. Getting off the bottom of the third for Kenai, Jared Pitney batting 9th in the order. He fouls one off to make that Mike Seastead, the catcher, fouling one off the right side. It'll be Seastead, Pitney, and then Brad Henderson at the top of the order. Mike Seastead out of the University of Michigan, just 6 at-bats so far in the tournament with 2 hits, a .333 average. The 0-1. Just a little bit low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Seastead has driven in a run for Kenai in his 2 starts. The 1-1. Hit well to left field toward the track, going back and getting to give up on it is Mike Kumler. That ball gets out of here. Pretty much a line drive home run by Mike Seastead. He wasn't even sure what had happened to it. He slowed up at second base to see if it had bounced over the wall or what. That's his first home run of the tournament. And in a tournament somewhat devoid of home runs by NBC standards, we've had 1 for each team, and that's the scoring. 2-1 Broncos now.
Mike Boone would love to have that pitch back. I mean, there's a hanging breaking ball, and with the aluminum bat, he hit that well. I haven't seen many home runs to left. I saw the balls go out to right, but he hit that one really well on the line. We'll bring up Jared Pitney, the first baseman. Pitney's been in the lineup since Ken Harvey out of the University of Nebraska got hurt in Kenai's 3rd game. Here's a little pop-up toward shallow left. Dave Bacani, the shortstop, will get out to make the play and retires Pitney for out number 1. Jared Pitney now just 1 for 11 in fill-in duty. Ken Harvey was Kenai's cleanup hitter. Big guy, 6'2", about 235 pounds, and he turned an ankle or a foot running out a double play ball early in the 3rd game that Kenai played, and he has not been able to play since then. So that's a big loss in their lineup. He is one of their leading power hitters. 1 out, base is clear, and the leadoff man, Henderson, takes a strike on the inside corner. Brad Henderson singled through the hole at short his first time up, 1 for 1 in the ball game. That boosts him above 300 in the tournament at 6 for 19. Takes the breaking ball for a strike, 0-2.
Orr's been doing a good job of mixing it up, and he's a finesse-type guy who we'll see how Kenai adjusts the second time through the order now and how he continues to set them up. 0-2 bouncer to short. Bacani has it. Throws across in time. 2 gone. Ben Orr has bounced back from the home run by Seastead to get 2 quick outs, and the batter will be Jeremy Johnson. Johnson, a strikeout victim, his first time up. Again, in the earlier game this evening, Nevada down 6-1, coming to bat in the bottom of the 8th, rallied for 3 in the 8th, and then 3 more in the 9th to win it, 7-6, and eliminate the Clarinda A's. And this one's inside, catches Johnson, and he'll trot to first base with the free pass hit by a pitch.
Third baseman, Mike Cervenek.
That's the first free pass of any kind given up by Ben Orr, and he will now face Mike Cervenek, the third baseman, who hit a fly ball to center his first time up. 2-1 ball game, the Broncos leading, so that's the tying run potentially at first base. The pitch to Cervenek, bounced toward third, and just foul. That was trouble if it had stayed fair, and it wasn't foul by more than a few inches. It'll be a strike to Cervenek, and the runner Johnson, who was already around second, will go back to first. Jeremy Johnson runs well at first base. He is both a stolen base threat and certainly a good candidate to score on anything that gets down the lines or in the gap. Mike Cervenek, a member of Matsu's championship team a year ago. The pitch to him. Fastball, a little bit outside. In fact, Kenai has a couple of guys who played for Matsu's champions, Cervenek and then Chris Circuit, who'll be up there a couple of hitters from now in the DH spot. Both played for Fairbanks this summer and then were picked up by Kenai for this tournament. The 1-1. High drive into right center, fairly well hit, but Troutman has a beat on it. The right fielder back to the track, and it bounces over the edge of his glove. Lou Ford firing it back in, but the runner around third coming home, and overrunning second base, Cervenek is tagged out to end the inning by Dave Bacani. Looked like Troutman was going to get that one and may have misjudged it a little. He tried to accelerate. The ball got just over his glove and went off the wall for a double, but on the play, Cervenek overran the bag at second and was tagged out. And did they rule that the run did not score? They say the run did not get home in time. That's going to get a little argument for a moment, but Bob Homolka, watching it closely, waved off the run, and so it will remain a 2-1 ball game. Kenai picks up 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors, and nobody left on base. So after 3 innings, it is El Dorado 2, Kenai 1.
Now.
Dave Bacani, batting third in the order, leads off for El Dorado in the 4th, takes a strike on the outside corner from Kenny Baugh. Bacani, a strikeout victim, his first time up is 4 for 19 in the tournament. The 0-1 to him, swing and a miss. He's in the hole 0-2, and worse than the 4 for 19, he has now struck out in 5 of his last 6 at-bats. He wore the golden sombrero in last night's ball game. Broncos 9-5 win over Nevada. Just missed there. Off-speed breaking ball on the outside edge. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bacani out of Cal State Fullerton, freshman All-American and first-team All-Big West this past spring. The 1-2 pitch, little tap toward third. That's foul. Days at a ball and 2 strikes. Again, Dave Bacani coming off a good summer for the Broncos. He was one of the leading hitters in the Jayhawk League. In fact, third at .365 in Jayhawk League games only. About .335 for the summer overall. The 1-2 pitch, check swing, and he tapped it foul off the plate. Mike Seastead, the catcher, pouncing on it, but it was already foul. Seastead, from Michigan, wears a catcher's helmet that has the Michigan football emblem on it, the stripes, the same as Michigan looks. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bacani leading off the 4th. The Broncos up 2-1. Swing and a miss. He is down on strikes again. 6 out of 7 at-bats now for Dave Bacani. And with 1 out, the batter, Greer Jones. This is a humbling game sometimes, and you can get in little slumps or streaks, and it's like night and day, just a few days apart. Batter Greer Jones reached on an error his first time up by the shortstop Candelaria. He takes low for ball 1. Greer Jones, Jason Espito have been the big RBI guys for the Broncos in this tournament. Tried to check his swing, and it's in there for a strike, 1-1. There's a pitch up and in a little bit, off speed. Greer trying to hold up right at the end, And I'm not sure if Bob Homolka ruled it was in the zone anyway or if he did commit on the pitch. Either way, it's a strike. 1-1 is high, 2 balls and 1 strike. The El Dorado Broncos trying to get back to the championship round. They were there in 1996, coming out of the losers bracket. The 2-1 got the outside corner, 2-2 now. The Broncos ended up in a matchup with Tacoma, which had gone undefeated through the bracket, and then beat the Stars twice on the final night to win the championship. 2-2, little tap past the mound up the middle. The shortstop, Candelaria, can't quite flag it down behind second. Candelaria on a slow roller tried to flag it behind second base and couldn't quite pick it up. I'm sure that will go as a hit for Greer Jones, and that will be the second hit of the ball game for the El Dorado Broncos.
That's one of those in-between hops that you get through the second base hit. You know, a guy like a Zach Sorensen, that's a play that he talks about. That's the toughest play for him to make because it's soft, it's to its left, and you don't know what it's going to do when it gets through the pit. It might come up, it might stay down, and it seemed that it stayed down a little bit more, and he saw it, and he bobbled it. And once you bobble it, you have no chance.
Runner at first, 1 out for Sam Scott, who grounded into a double play. His first time up, Greer Jones draws a throw at first. I said I'm sure it will go as a hit. Apparently the official scorer, Michael Dean, not quite so sure. It took a little while to go up on the board, so he gave it some thought. I think Candelaria would have had a tough time throwing him out even if he had picked it up. This one is low to Scott, 1 ball and no strikes. Sam Scott, a member of Cowley County's back-to-back JUCO World Series championship teams the last 2 years. With a fastball low and away, 2-0. He'll be headed to Florida State as a junior. Played second base for Cowley County, but has been the DH for El Dorado throughout this tournament and, in fact, for much of the summer. Played a little third base for the Broncos at times. 2-0 to count. A runner at first, 1 down. The Broncos leading 2-1. And that was low and inside, 3 balls and a strike. Obviously, if Baugh shows any real signs of struggling, Kenai will get the bullpen going early. No one up yet, but they can't afford to let this one slip away even a little bit. This is their last chance. The 3-0, and that's in there for a strike. Runs it to 3-1.
The owner of a new black Honda Civic with 30-day temporary tag.
Greer Jones is taking a modest lead at first base. Not a real base-stealing threat on the right count. They might try to start him on a hit and run, and he draws a throw over and gets back. Terry Elliott on deck for the Broncos. The 3-1 to Scott. High pop-up. Left side. It'll drift just off the turf into the shallow stage areas of left field, and coming in to make the catch, Paul Lockhart. Shortstop Candelaria went out. Lockhart came in and called him off for out number 2. That'll bring up Terry Elliott, who grounded to second his first time up. Terry's been tough in RBI situations for the Broncos, collecting 5 runs batted in through their first 5 games. Right-handed hitter facing the right-hander. Greer Jones lengthens his lead a little bit. The pitch, swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch down and in, got him swinging, 0-1. Elliott stepped out for a moment, took a quick look down to Mark Wasikowski, his manager, working down at third base. Ball ready, and his pitch. That's a good strike on the outside corner. Came in, got strike 1, and then went away from Terry, and Terry, a little bit fooled by the location, didn't go after it. No balls and 2 strikes. Each team scoring in the third, a 2-run homer for the Broncos. It's by Jason Espedo, and then a solo shot for Kenai off the bat of Mike Seastead. Elliott takes ball 1, 1-2. If there is only one semifinal tomorrow night, it will be at 7 o'clock. There goes the runner. Pitch is high. The throw down is late. Greer Jones got a great jump that time. Stole second easily. And the count goes to 2-2 on Terry Elliott. So now Greer Jones in scoring position for a 2-out base hit. If there are 2 games tomorrow night, the first one will still start at 7, and then one will follow at 10 o'clock. And if the Broncos have to play in another semifinal game tomorrow night, should they lose this one, they would play the later game. The first game will be Clarinda and Nevada it'll be, that game's already decided, Nevada and the Dallas Liberal winner if there's only one game. And if Kenai wins, it'll be Nevada and Kenai in the first game, then the Broncos and either Liberal or Dallas. A foul back, Seastead coming back to the screen, but it's well out of reach. And Terry Elliott upset with himself at that swing as the count goes to 2-2. The El Dorado Broncos have been out hit. Well, it's now 3-1. They have changed that hit by Greer Jones to an error at the start of the inning. So Greer's been on twice, both times on errors by the shortstop. So a total of 2 runs on 1 hit. And there's a shot down the left side, but foul. Terry Elliott got the pitch he was looking for, 2-2, and jumped all over it, but just a little too quickly.
It seemed like a straight change, and definitely that's a pitch Terry wanted to drive, and just a little bit too early on it. You know, he's just a little bit out in front, and that's a pitch that he probably won't see right here. I guarantee you he'll probably go away with either a fastball or a curveball down.
Greer Jones at second, 2 down, and Baugh steps off and looks the runner back. Greer got a good jump on him off first, and Baugh decided to make sure he didn't get too big a walking lead off second to make it easier to score on a base hit. Again, the look back, and the 2-2 to Elliott, low and inside with a fastball. He did try to come in, and now the count is full at 3-2. Trying to keep Elliott guessing, but that one was way inside. In fact, almost hit him, and now Kenny Baugh wants a new baseball.
Mike, with first base open and with the tournament Terry's had, I'd be surprised if they would throw him the fastball here. I think they'd probably go off speed. If anything, they'd try to stay away. Terry's been dangerous all tournament long, and the throw a fastball is really dangerous right here.
Kenny Baugh with the sign. Big pitch coming up here, the 3-2. Little tap along the third base line, foul. Terry way out in front on a changeup. Tapped it to his own coach, Mark Wazakowski, along the third baseline. Yeah, it kind of got overlooked in the space between the two collisions last night, but Terry Elliott came back from getting banged at the plate to actually drive in the tying run just a couple of hitters later on a single through the left side. The 3-2 again. Low and inside for ball 4. Terry Elliott draws the 2-out walk, first and second for the Broncos. That's just the second walk issued by Kenny Baugh. And now he will face Mike Pumo, who drew the other walk his first time up. Pumo led off the third and was walked on 4 pitches, and that set up the 2-run homer by Jason Espedo that followed. And those are the 2 runs so far for El Dorado as they lead it 2-1. So Pumo, who has scored 1, has a chance to maybe drive 1 in here. Swings and misses at an off-speed breaking ball for strike 1. Baugh is not an easy guy to pick up. He seems to give you quite a few different looks and changes his speed. He'll even throw his breaking ball a little bit different speeds occasionally. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. That was a little sharper breaking pitch, and it's 0-2.
He's a hard guy to pick up, Mike, because he crosses his body, and 2, he has pretty good arm speed on his changeup. He's throwing that effective right now, and he's keeping the hitters off balance, and Pumo's really struggling with that pitch right now.
0-2 breaking ball slapped toward third and just foul. It was fielded by Mike Cervenik, but across the foul line and deep behind the bag. That would have been a tough one to get the runner if it had been a fair ball, because he was so deep behind the bag, and Pumo runs pretty well. He also would not have been in very good position to get back to the bag to try to get the force on Greer Jones coming down from second. Count to Pumo stays at 0-2. Baugh didn't waste anything on the first 0-2 pitch. Pretty much came right at him with another breaking ball. Pumo finally made contact, but he is still struggling to hit the breaker from Baugh. Fastball high and away, 1-2. I think he just intended to show him one there, see if he could get him to fish a little bit off the outside corner, but that was so high and outside it wasn't very enticing. 1-2 now. Baugh deals, breaking ball again, popped up right up the middle of the diamond. Several people in the vicinity. The second baseman Henderson makes the call on the catch, and the side retires. So for the El Dorado Broncos in the 4th, no runs, no hits, 1 error, and 2 men left on base. After 3.5 it remains. Broncos 2, Kenai 1.
Spaghetti.
Very much like the one which preceded it, 2-1 El Dorado into the bottom of the 4th in the first game this evening. That was the score of the visiting team Clarinda, leading Nevada into the bottom of the 8th, but the Griffins actually into the 7th, and then in the 8th, has scored 4 to take a 6-1 lead. Nevada came back with 3 in the 8th and 3 more in the 9th, scoring with 2 outs to win it, 7-6. Call to Mike Cervenek, to Paul Lockhart, the cleanup man for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers. Lockhart 0 for 1, called out on strikes his first time up. The 0-1 from Ben Orr. Fastball low and inside, 1-1. Lockhart has had a very good tournament. Again, he is Kenai's RBI leader with 8. 5 of those in a big win yesterday over Tacoma, 6-3. The 1-1. Just a little high and away. 2 balls and a strike. The losers of tonight's game, finishing 4-2, will tie for 5th in the tournament. The 2-1, a little bit high, 3-1. Kenai hasn't had many base runners yet. They've had a couple of hits and a hit batter. They like to get some people on and run aggressively, try to make some plays. Just haven't had much of a chance to do that yet against Orr. The 3-1, that's a little bit outside for ball 4. Ben Orr's first walk, certainly not the way you want to start any inning. He's done a good job of holding runners on, as Steve mentioned earlier, but anytime that leadoff man gets on, your chances of scoring go up appreciably. Chris Circuit, 0 for 1 with a fly ball to right his first time up. Circuit, along with Mike Cervenek, the other member on this team who played on last year's Matsu championship team. There's a bunt straight up in the air, and Terry Elliott is right there and makes the catch for the out. Circuit trying to move the runner, popped it straight up, and Elliott had the mask off very quickly and made the play for out number 1. With 1 down, Scott Candelaria will come up, a strikeout victim his first time up, taking one looking, and Terry Elliott out to have a little discussion with Ben Orr, probably about pitch selection and pattern a little bit here.
You know, I'm surprised they would want to sacrifice bunt there. I mean, they're a team that's scrappy, that has good team speed. I'm surprised they didn't hit and run, get some type of movement, get the defense moving. Early, it's early. It's the bottom of the 4th. I'm kind of surprised they'd want to sacrifice bunt, especially with Cervenek up there. It's surprising.
Now Candelaria, first pitch to him. Fastball line to left field for a base hit. Charging it quickly is Mike Pumo, the lead runner around second and holding. And it's first and second with 1 out. And Orr hasn't thrown that many first pitch fastballs. Candelaria went up there looking for one and jumped all over it. You know, going back to the bunt, it certainly appeared to me, and obviously to you too, that he was not bunting for a base hit, which is a play people put on sometimes to try to move the runner but also get the hitter on if he's successful.
Yeah, just to get the defense moving, just to see maybe we get an error, something. There's so many things that could happen with an aluminum bat like it is. You can hit one, squib one through a hole, and you got first and third, no outs. I'm kind of surprised with the sacrifice there.
Now here is Phil Downing, the center fielder, line to left his first time up, hit the ball pretty well, but right at Mike Pumo. He takes ball 1. The tying run at second, the go-ahead run at first for Kenai here in the 4th. They trail 2-1. Pickoff move at second base and a low throw. Dave Bacani on the timing play got there in pretty good position to possibly get the pickoff, but the throw skipped in the dirt, and Bacani then went to one knee and blocked it with his body to keep it from going into center field.
Excellent play by Bacani to keep it in front of him. With Ford, the center fielder playing pretty deep in center. If that gets by him, you're going to have second and third, 1 out, and a great chance for Kenai to take the lead. So a great play to block that by Bacani.
Count 1-0 to Downing, and he takes inside. 2 balls and no strikes. The Broncos, although they have a game to play with, not having lost, want to stay undefeated. They will make a move early also if necessary, and they now have a right-hander, Tom Thomas, throwing in the bullpen. He has not seen action yet in the tournament. The 2-0 is low, 3 balls and no strikes. Ben Orr finding himself in his first real jam of the night. First and second, only 1 out and a 3-0 count on the hitter. Next one to Downing. It's low for ball 4. Bases loaded now. The tying run gets pushed over to third. And the batter is Mike Seastead, who in his first at-bat of the night lined one over the left field fence for Kenai's run. Dan Davis, the Broncos pitching coach, to the mound to talk things over as Thomas starts to heat up a little more quickly in the El Dorado bullpen. Thomas, by the way, is the cousin of Jim Thomas, Wichita State assistant coach. Pitched at Maple Woods Community College in the Kansas City area this spring and was named the outstanding pitcher in the Junior College World Series. He's headed for Southeast Missouri State. He's a guy who's been with the Broncos all summer, but has not yet seen action in this tournament.
And again, like we talked in the pregame, this is where the Broncos sit really good. That's where they sit pretty. And this, if they have to get deep in their bullpen, that's really going to help them down the stretch here.
Standing in from the right side, Mike Seastead, 3 for 7 now in the tournament, including that solo home run, his first time up tonight. And Orr's first pitch lifted in the air to right field. Just has a chance to score the run. Troutman makes the catch. The runner tagging and coming home. Troutman, good accurate throw again, but late this time. I thought for a moment we might get to see Elliott having to hold off the plate as he did last night, but Jeremy didn't have much chance there. The run scores to tie it at 2 on the sacrifice fly.
I think the ball was hit hard enough that Jeremy couldn't get back on it as much as he wanted to. He couldn't get back on it to get more momentum to the plate. He caught it, and he kind of had a shuffle step, and I don't think he got a hard enough throw off that he could have. And I think he been a more closer play than it was.
So it is 2-2 now. Game tied back up, and Seastead, who had 1 RBI and 6 at-bats previously in the tournament, has driven in both runs for Kenai tonight. Now Jared Pitney, who popped to short his first time, with runners at first and third, and 2 down, and a strike call. A good job also of base running by Phil Downing, who tagged and went from second to third, which with 2 outs isn't a real big play, but it does give him the possibility to score in some other ways, like a wild pitch or a pass ball. The 0-1, bouncer up the first baseline, foul, 0-2. Again, Jared Pitney just 1 for 11 since taking over in the starting lineup for the injured Ken Harvey.
And with Pitney struggling in 0-2 count, I wouldn't be surprised there'd be some movement at first. Something, to see if they can test the defense, try to get the run on third.
The 0-2 got him looking. Pitney down on strikes. Orr comes back to get out of it with somewhat minimal damage. That's his 4th strikeout of the ball game. But Kenai does pick up the tying run on 1 hit. There were no errors, 2 men left on base. And after 4, it is back to even. Kenai 2 and the Broncos 2. Scoreless through the first 2 innings. The Broncos jumped out in front 2-0 on a 2-run homer by Jason Espedo in the 3rd, and now it is back to even as Espedo comes up for the 2nd time to lead off the 5th. 11 for 19 in the tournament with 3 homers. He takes low for ball 1. Normally it takes at least 5 or 6 home runs to lead this tournament in home runs. Espedo is the leader right now with his 3rd. The 1-0. Bouncer up the first baseline, foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. Last year the high total was 6. One of those guys, Mike Bursa of Prairie Gravel, looks like 4 or maybe 5 at the most, will lead the tournament this year, and Espedo loses the bat completely as he swings and misses at an off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2. Espedo had a solid, not great, freshman season at the University of Texas, hitting .301 with 2 homers and 20 runs batted in. He started 40 games. The 1-2 bounces in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. There are a lot of University of Texas players in this event this year, and assistant coach Bert Hooten was up here in the booth with us last night as he's in town to watch some of the young Texans. Ground ball to second base, 2 hops to Brad Henderson, and the throw to first gets Espedo for the first out. With 1 down, Lou Ford at the bottom of the order will be up there. Robbed of a hit his first time up on a diving stop by Pitney, the first baseman, putting him at 5 for 18 in the tournament. An NAIA All-American from Dallas Baptist. First pitch to him. And a drive into right center field, slicing toward the gap. It is caught on a diving effort by the right fielder. Just a great play by Jeremy Johnson in right center, a headlong dive, and for a moment you couldn't tell if he had come up with it or not. Bounced up off his stomach and held the ball up in his glove.
You won't see any plays better than that. That's an ESPN play right there. Beautiful. He got a great jump on it in the first place. The only thing going for him was the ball wasn't cutting towards him, and he laid out. It's an excellent play.
Here's Kevin Hooper, 0 for 2 with a ground ball to short and a fly ball to center. Takes a strike on the inside corner from Kenny Baugh. Lou Ford hasn't exactly been the luckiest guy in the world tonight. A diving stop by the first baseman to rob him of a hit his first time, and now that catch in right field by Jeremy Johnson. This one's low to Hooper, 1-1. The Broncos' only hit so far is the two-run homer by Espedo in the third. The 1-1. Line shot up the middle. Diving catch by the second baseman, Henderson. Kenai flashing some leather here in the fifth inning. And the Broncos go in order. 1, 2, 3, and after 4.5, still El Dorado 2, Kenai 2.
Horton's Carpets and Bikes.
Kind of an odd atmospheric condition here tonight with all the humidity we've had, a little bit of rain earlier. There's almost a fog of sorts hanging over the ballpark, just a little bit of a haze from the humidity. I don't know that it's affected play too much. The fielders seem to be picking the ball up okay so far.
Yeah, it's just hard to see it off the bat. And we couldn't tell he made the play until he got up and threw it into the infield. It was a beautiful play. I wish I just could have seen it.
The catch in right field by Jeremy Johnson in the previous half inning, and now Brad Henderson leads off the fifth for Kenai. A single and a ground ball to short into at bat. High pop-up this time, shallow in center. Kevin Hooper got a quick jump going out, now gives way to the center fielder Lou Ford, and he'll make the catch for the out. Kevin Hooper gets tremendous jumps on pop flies. We've talked a lot during his Wichita State career about the jump he gets on ground balls ranging to either side, but he gets out to the outfield about as quickly as any middle infielder you're ever going to see.
Well, one thing he taught me about that position in second is if he sees the ball up, he goes at it until somebody calls him off. And him and Zach are just awesome at that because they don't let anything go to chance.
Trying to bunt his way on, Jeremy Johnson, and Ben Orr recovers and makes the play. Orr almost slipped a little as he started after the ball, going toward the third baseline off the mound, but he fielded it cleanly and made the play to first in time. Johnson trying to bunt for the hit, just bunted a little hard, too close to the pitcher, 2 gone. Brings up Mike Cervenek, who has one of the 4 Kenai hits with a double to right center his last time up. He has also flied to center, takes outside for ball 1. Cervenek drove in a run, or actually would have driven in a run with his base hit, but Jeremy Johnson kind of slowed up coming around third, and when Cervenek overran the bag at second and was tagged out, Johnson hadn't scored yet, and now he slashes one through the hole into left field for a base hit. Cervenek 2 out of 3 with a double and a single. Brings up Paul Lockhart. Struck out looking his first time, walked and scored in the fourth. Kenai has out-hit the Broncos now 5-1. But the game all knotted up at 2-2 here in the bottom of the fifth. First pitch to Lockhart is a little bit high for ball 1. Kenai's done a good job offensively of kind of getting contributions from different people up and down the lineup in their 5 games. They really only have a couple of guys who are what you would call hot game in and game out of the tournament. Candelaria's been hitting over 400 and Lockhart over 400. Other than that, it's been kind of a different guy every game. 2-0 the count as Lockhart took a fastball outside from Ben Orr. Orr looking for one more out to wrap up this fifth inning and keep the game tied up. The 2-0. High drive into right. Toward the line a little bit. Shallow. Jeremy Troutman moves under it and makes the grab for the out. That one actually drifted into foul territory. Troutman runs it down to retire the side. And for Kenai in the fifth, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. We've completed 5 with the score. Kenai 2, El Dorado 2. Second of 3 quarterfinal games at this 64th NBC World Series. The first game this evening won by Nevada. Quite a comeback, scoring 3 in the 8th and then 3 in the 9th to overtake Clarinda 7-6. So Nevada into the semifinals. In game 2 of the night, El Dorado and Kenai tied at 2-2 as Jeremy Troutman leads off the Broncos 6 and takes high for ball 1. Kenny Baugh, through 5 innings, has allowed 2 runs on 1 hit. He has walked 2 and struck out 2. 1-0. Troutman swings and misses. That one appeared to be in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeremy has tapped to the first baseman and struck out swinging. He's had a tough time with Baugh. Baugh's been able to get him some chase some pitches out of the strike zone. 1-1. Hit on the ground to first. Pitney gives a step, has it, flips a little bit going to the bag, and flips to Baugh covering for the out, and that's why the pitcher always goes to cover just in case.
You can never assume. I remember Brent told me this over and over. You can never assume that the first baseman is going to get it and nothing's going to happen. I watched a Major League game the other night, and the pitcher assumed he was going to make it. He slipped, and he pitched the ball, and he pitched it right to the first base coach. So you always have to get there. He over and over again, he tells you that.
One out, Dave Bacani bunts toward third, and a good one, a dandy. No chance to make a play, and that's one way you break out of the slump in which you've struck out 6 of the last 7 times. Bacani lays down a bunt single, just the second hit of the night for the Broncos. Well, that's a smart play, and it probably eases a little frustration for Dave Bacani. It also gives the Broncos a fast runner with 1 out. Greer Jones, 0 for 2 officially. He's been on errors by the shortstop both times up. Throw to first and the runner back. Actually, his last time up there on a grounder behind the bag at second, the play was temporarily ruled a hit and then changed. So he is 0 for 2. The Broncos with just 2 hits, and there's a strike on the outside corner. Good fastball from the right-hander. A little bit of activity starting in the Kenai bullpen. A right-hander throwing for the Oilers. It's the first time they've really shown any signs of being concerned to throw to first base, and Bacani dives back safely. Dave Bacani, a pretty good base dealer, but he's just 1 for 3 in this tournament. He was 14 of 16 in the Jayhawk League. Draws another throw and gets back. 10 of 14 this spring for Cal State Fullerton for Bacani in the stolen base column. One of the 2 times he's been caught in this tournament was on a pickoff, throw to first base, the runner back. Stepping out of the box for a moment now, Greer Jones, as he is tired a little bit of watching Baugh throw to first base. Now the pitch, hit hard but foul. It's an off-speed pitch up and in, and he jumped all over it, grounded it outside the bag at third.
You know, Mike, I think I'm more surprised that with these 2 teams, they're more scrappy than power teams. I'm surprised there hasn't been more movement, more, getting the defense moving, like I said, something to just get something going. The momentum's just kind of stationary right now. Somebody needs to take control.
Go to first base again Bacani back. Mentioned earlier, Kenai 4 of 8 on stolen base attempts. The Broncos are 10 of 14 in 5 previous games, so they've averaged 2 stolen bases a game, but nobody's even gotten a jump. There he goes. Pitch is high, throw is high, easy stolen base for Dave Bacani. He just needed to pick his spot, I guess. He got a tremendous jump that time, and although it was not a good throw by Seastead, part of the reason was he had virtually no chance and rushed it a little bit.
Well, they've had 5 innings to see the pitcher and to see how fast he is to the plate and to see the catcher's arm, and you could just feel it. You could just see something's going to happen. A fast run on second. To get him in scoring position, this run is crucial to take the lead, get the momentum on their side, and to win the ball game.
Greer Jones on a 1-2, grounds it to short. Bacani going to third. Candelaria bobbles, throws, still got him. Candelaria was in danger of allowing Greer Jones to reach for the 3rd time tonight on an error, but he picked it back up and threw him out for the 2nd out in the inning. Bacani, a pretty good read. That ball was hit pretty sharply, but he got a great jump going off second and made it to third without a play. 2 down now, and it's up to Sam Scott, who has grounded into a double play, started by Henderson at second, and then hit a fly ball to left the last time up. Takes low for ball 1. Pretty good block by Mike Seastead that time. Of course, a wild pitch now would bring in a run. Right-hander continuing to throw in the bullpen. I believe that is Andy McCullough out of Nevada, Las Vegas, the right-hander. And they are looking down there just to get an idea of whether he's ready or not, just in case. 1 ball, no strikes. His pitch bounced that one in the dirt, and he bounced that one 3 feet in front of home plate. Seastead got down in front of it again. 2 balls and no strikes. So Baugh tried pretty hard twice to wild pitch that run home since Bacani got to third. He goes to 2-0 on Sam Scott. Crowd trying to get into it a little bit. Of course, most of them rooting for the Broncos. Fastball up and in, 3-0. Broncos unquestionably the most popular team in this year's tournament with a lot of local players and, of course, a big following from El Dorado, where they have really caught on since their move over there a few years ago. The 3-0, just a little bit outside for ball 4. And so Terry Elliott comes up in another clutch situation. 3rd walk given up by Kenny Baugh. And we're going to get some some action out of the Kenai dugout. Not sure who actually carries the title of pitching coach for Kenai. Scott Marr, the head coach, Gary Adcock, and Marlon Jones, his assistant. And McCullough out in the bullpen was halfway in toward the mound. He just assumed he was coming, and he is now. After a little quick chat, Ball's going to come out, and we'll get a pitching change. We're going to take a quick break. We're in the top of the 6th inning of this feature game. The El Dorado Broncos and the Kenai Peninsula Oilers tied at 2-2. The new pitcher for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers is right-hander Andy McCullough out of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. 6 feet, 205 pounds. He'll be a junior at UNLV. Drafted out of high school in his hometown of Las Vegas by the Arizona Diamondbacks. As a freshman, he made 15 appearances, 2 starts, and was 2-4 with 3 saves, but an 8.56 ERA. Then in 19 appearances this spring for UNLV, 6-2 with 2 saves. He's lowered his ERA to 5.40, and he's had a good summer for Kenai. 11 appearances, 4 starts, 2 complete games, 1-1 with 2 saves, and a 2.95 ERA. Probably his most impressive numbers, he has struck out 31 and walked only 6, a 5-to-1 ratio in 39 2/3 innings. This is McCullough's second appearance of the NBC World Series. He faced 1 hitter in his previous outing and retired him, so he has worked just a third of an inning. He faces Terry Elliott with runners at first and third, 2 down in the top of the 6th. The game tied, and Elliott takes the strike. And McCullough appears to be a little harder thrower possibly than Ball, a little different look for the Broncos. Terry Elliott has grounded to second and walked in 2 previous plate appearances tonight. He has driven in 5 runs in the Broncos' first 5 games, has a man at third with 2 down that represents the lead run in the ball game here in the 6th. Now the timer has gone off, and that's going to go as a ball charged to McCullough, who was not ready to pitch, and the count 1-1. You have 20 seconds between pitches, and McCullough was not yet back up on the rubber. The 1-1. Fastball in there at the knees for a strike, 1-2. He's thrown Terry a couple of pretty good strikes. By pretty good, I don't mean good to hit. I mean tough part of the strike zone to catch up with. As soon as McCullough got in, somebody else starts warming up in the Kenai bullpen, so they're ready to pull out all the stops to keep this one right where it is. Takes to third, looks to first, not very well done. Nothing deceptive about it, and Sam Scott certainly not fooled. Stretched by the right-hander, the 1-2, reaches out, slaps it towards second. Big 2-hopper to Brad Henderson, and the throw to first for the out to end the inning. So the El Dorado Broncos mount a threat but fail to score. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 men left on base. After 5.5, it remains Kenai 2, El Dorado 2.
Yo, what's up?
Bottom of the 6th inning, we've got another tight ball game in our feature game here. That has been almost the case throughout the tournament. We've had a lot of great games on these broadcasts. Hope you've enjoyed them. And this one in the quarterfinal round is 2-2 into the bottom of the 6th. Chris Circuit, the DH, will lead it off for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers. Right-handed hitter facing left-hander Ben Orr, and he takes low and inside for ball 1. Circuit 0 for 2 in the ball game. He's hit a fly ball to right and then tried to bunt his last time up and popped it straight up in the air to catcher Terry Elliott. 1-0. The right-hander who started throwing in the bullpen is continuing to throw, and that is 21. We don't have him on the roster. The numbers are hard to see. Oh, I'm sorry. 26 would be Chris Mabius from Eastern Arizona Junior College, and a swing and a miss by Circuit puts the count at 2-1. So he is continuing to get loose just in case he is needed. Chris Circuit trying to get something started here. Lines 1 foul down toward his own bullpen. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good pitch by Orr, really in on the hands of the hitter, and he was just able to pull it sharply down the left field line. And make that Vince Castilli, right-hander out of Michigan, throwing in the Kenai bullpen. 2-2 pitch, popped up off the handle, maybe playable for Elliott. He's got to play, and makes the catch for the out. Little soft pop-up off the handle, and Circuit has kept Elliott busy tonight, popping up a bunt, and now a full swing, and 1 out in the 6th.
Shortstop, Scott Kendall,
Brings up Scott Candelaria, the shortstop for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers. He has been called out on strikes and then lined a single to left his last time up. Jumped on a first-pitch fastball from Orr. I doubt that he gets one here. Got off speed away and slapped it foul along the first baseline for strike one. 2 runs on 5 hits for Kenai. They have committed 2 errors, both by the guy up there, Candelaria. The Broncos 2 runs on just 2 hits. They have played errorless ball in the field. The 0-1 went away again, missed the outside corner, 1-1. Mike Seastead, or rather Phil Downing on deck, a left-handed hitter, so Orr would definitely like to keep this guy off of there. Swing and a miss, had him way out in front. After he hit the fastball the last time, he's seeing nothing but junk this time around. Left-hander winds the 1-2. There's a fastball, line just foul. He was late, but he hit that ball hard, and as much as he had him off balance with the off-speed stuff, a little surprising to see him come with the fastball.
Yeah, this is too good of a pitch, Mike. I don't mind the fastball there, but the location was bad. He's definitely going to go either hard in or change it down.
Breaking ball in, and he swung and missed for strike 3. The ball ended up in the dirt, so Terry Elliott will tag him, and there are 2 gone. Off-speed breaking ball down and in. He swung at a pitch that ended up in the dirt, and there are 2 gone in the inning.
Sometimes you throw a fastball in a certain situation just to set up a pitch, and if you make the pitch too good, that's where you can get hurt. He got away with it. The pitch was just foul, and then he came back with a good breaking ball down to strike him out.
That is Orr's 5th strikeout, and now he faces Phil Downing, left-handed hitting center fielder for the Oilers. This is a little bit inside for ball 1. Downing, who's having a tough tournament so far, has lined to left and walked. The 1-0. Fastball inside, 2-0. Downing at 0 for 1 tonight is just 3 for 15, even 200 in the NBC World Series. An even 400 hitter this spring for Southern Utah. Tried to check his swing, but he went around, and it's 2-1. And that's a count at 2-0 where you want to really make sure you get something you can drive and get a good cut at it if you're going to swing. He ended up kind of guessing and ended up with a half-swing strike. The 2-1 fouled off behind third, and Orr has come back to even it up at 2-2.
Mike, I've been really impressed with Orr tonight. He's had times where he's struggled, and he's fought through the adversity, and then there's times now where he's in command, he's in a rhythm, he's really challenging him. He's going right at him. I expect to break the ball away here to strike him out.
And he did. Breaking ball away, struck him out looking, in fact, as he froze. Phil Downing for the final out of the inning. Struck out 2 in a 1-2-3 frame. Kenai down in order in the 6th, and it remains the Oilers 2 and the El Dorado Broncos 2. Andy McCullough back to the mound for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers, and the right-hander who got 1 hitter to end the 6th will now be facing the bottom third of the El Dorado order in the 7th, starting it off with Mike Pumo. First pitch to the right-handed hitter. Fastball high for ball 1. Pumo walked and scored in the 3rd, then popped up to 2nd in the 4th. Just 4 for 17 in the tournament for the Broncos. 1-0. Fastball in there for a strike. 1-1. Mike Pumo, Jason Espito, and Lou Ford for the Broncos here in the 7th. 1-1 pitch. Check swing roller up the first baseline. 1-2. The Broncos have been leading the tournament in hitting most of the way, came into tonight's game at .381, and part of the reason is they're getting good production from these guys in the lower part of the order. However, tonight, just 2 hits off 2 Kenai pitchers. Fastball a little bit low inside, 2-2 now. Pumo runs fairly well. He would be a good leadoff guy to get on there in this inning. The 2-2 delivery. High fly ball down the right field line, into foul territory, and just out of reach. Pretty good jump on the ball by Jeremy Johnson, but it just kept drifting, and we've finally gotten a little bit of breeze blowing. It was dead still when the ball game started. It's still not very strong, but there is just a little bit of breeze out of the north, and that may have helped drift that ball a little farther foul. 2-2, the count holding to Mike Pumo. He's ready to go again. And McCullough's pitch. Struck him out on a good fastball down and away. Pumo down swinging, 1 out of the inning, and McCullough records just the 3rd strikeout tonight for Kenai pitching.
I've been really impressed with McCullough as well. Mike, he's come in and he's really set the tone. He got out of a jam and he's hitting his spots. It looks like he has a good pop on his fastball, the best fastball I've seen tonight.
Jason Espito fouls one behind third for strike one. Espito got the Broncos runs home with a 2-run homer in the third following a leadoff walk to Pumo. Since then, he has grounded out to second, 1 for 2 in the ballgame. 550 on 11 for 20 in the tournament. And there's a drive foul. Getting pretty good cuts at McCullough, but he's been a little bit late on a couple of fastballs, fouled them both down the left field line.
And again, I think it all has to do with his velocity. He has a good tail on his fastball, but he has a fastball that's probably rushing up there high 80s to 90, and they haven't seen that yet tonight.
0-2, low and away, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ball gave you a lot of motion and changing the speeds, kind of all elbows and knees out there, and now they're getting just straight hard stuff from Scott McCullough. The 1-2. High drive to right center field in this park. That's got a chance. It is gone again. Jason Espito with his second home run of the night and his 4th of the tournament puts the El Dorado Broncos back in front by a score of 3-2. McCullough may be getting a little bit overconfident in the fastball, just challenged him up in the strike zone, and Espito took it deep for the second time tonight.
And that ball was hit a mile. That was a fastball that was up, and again, I think McCullough would want to take it back. He has a good fastball, but when you throw a pitch up, you can throw 95, and if the pitch is up, the hitter can see it, and he has a lot better chance of hitting it.
Ford swings and misses at a slider for strike one. Lou Ford has been robbed of hits twice on diving catches, one by the first baseman, Jared Pitney. The last time, a great diving catch in right center by Jeremy Johnson, the right fielder. Takes this one low, 1-1. Ford is a good secondary leadoff man in the 9-hole in the order. He has 5 steals in 5 attempts so far in the tournament, but hasn't been able to get on tonight thanks to great defense by Kenai. Slapped it foul into the third base coaching box, 1-2. Mark Wasikowski, the pitching coach at Southeast Missouri State and the Broncos manager, is fielding 1,000 on balls hit into the coach's box during this tournament. Ground ball right side. They won't get that one. A base hit for Ford. And now a chance, as the Broncos have taken a 1-run lead, to maybe make some things happen. They have a fast runner at first and a guy who handles the bat as well as anyone coming up there in Kevin Hooper.
This is where you have many options. Kevin, most everybody in Wichita and Kansas knows that Kevin is outstanding with handling the bat. If you want to bunt for a hit, looking right here, a push bunt down the first base line past the pitcher is a great idea, but you have so many options right here. The defense has to be on their toes.
Runner goes first pitch. The pitch is low. Good throw, and he is out at second base. Mike Seastead doesn't appear to have the strongest arm in the world, but that was a perfect throw for accuracy, right on the bag, on the runner's hand, and Lou Ford out stealing for the first time in the tournament.
Ford has great speed, got a great jump, and it would take a perfect throw to get him, and that was a perfect throw.
Hooper took one low on the pitch for ball one, then tried to bunt at one and missed it for strike one. Hoop a little upset with himself. Had the third baseman back a little bit and just didn't get the bat on the ball. And that's something you won't see happen very often either, although he got kind of a tough pitch in on his hands a little bit. This one's flying right back at the pitcher, and McCullough just stuck a glove out, a reaction play, and there it was. Hooper lines out to end the inning. The Broncos have hit some of their hardest shots at somebody tonight, but in the inning they get 1 run on 2 hits. There were no errors, nobody left on base, and as we go to the bottom of the 7th, the El Dorado Broncos are back in front by a score of 3-2.
It happened.
Mike Seastead leads it off for Kenai in the bottom of the 7th, and Ben Orr's first pitch missed for ball one. Comes back, and this one's driven into right field. It's going to drop for a base hit. Troutman over quickly to cut it off, and he'll hold it to a single. But Mike Seastead, who had homered and then driven in around with a sacrifice fly previously, starts it off with a single here in the 7th. He has 2 of Kenai's 6 hits in the ballgame. Seastead has been the finisher tonight for Kenai, driving in both their runs, now trying to start something on as the leadoff man, and we'll see if Jared Pitney is up there to bunt him over. First pitch, he does square, bunts toward third, hard and foul. 1 strike to Pitney, who is a logical candidate to sacrifice. He is just 1 for 12 in the tournament. Pitney out of Pepperdine University. Hit .279 in 52 games as a freshman this spring. He does have some power. He hit 12 doubles and 9 home runs. And then this summer, .243 for Kenai with the wood bat at 38 games in the Alaska League. Here's the 0-1. And a high drive to left field. Pretty well hit. Moving to his left, Mike Kumo back just in front of the warning track and makes the catch for the out. Pitney, for a guy who's been struggling, made a pretty good stroke to the opposite field, drove it almost to the warning track, but Mike Kumo hauled it in.
Again, Mike, that was kind of a surprising decision by the coach, Coach Marr there. With Pitney struggling, he tries to bunt for a hit to get him to second, and then they don't do anything at all. That's kind of confusing because now they have a double play opportunity. They could be out of the inning in a heartbeat.
Brad Henderson, 1 for 3, the hitter. And the pitch to him, a breaking ball in there for a strike on the inside corner. Henderson singled to lead off to first, and then has grounded to short and flied to center in the 3rd and 5th innings. He has a runner at first with 1 out, his team down by a run in the bottom of the 7th. Ground ball toward the hole, and Henderson has his second hit into second base and stopping there. Mike Seaset, first and second, 1 out for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers, and that is a total of 7 hits now off Ben Orr in the ballgame.
Mike, I wouldn't be surprised with the lefty up. Orr's getting deeper in the game. They're seeing more and more of him. I think this is the 3rd or 4th time around in the order. I wouldn't be surprised they would go to Troutman here. He hasn't thrown this tournament. He's been really effective all summer, and he holds runners on well and gets ground balls. I'd be really surprised if they wouldn't go to Troutman here in this situation.
They're going to let Orr pitch to Jeremy Johnson, a left-handed hitter. And his first pitch to him, good breaking ball in there for a strike. Johnson started to go, then stopped himself, and then you could tell was really fooled as he almost kind of stepped in again as if he were going to think about it a second time. Breaking ball in for a strike, nothing in 1. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, breaking ball down and away. 2 very good pitches in a row to the left-handed hitter, and he's got him in the hole 0-2. There is no one throwing in the Broncos bullpen, which lends to Steve's thought that Jeremy Troutman will be the guy. He's warmed up a little bit between innings just to be loose. The 0-2. Another breaking ball, and he almost got him to go for it. The pitch didn't miss the strike zone by much anyway, and the count 1-2.
Excellent 0-2 pitch. The pitch before he swung at it, that 0-2 pitch, you don't want it to have, be too good, because an 0-2 pitch too good, you get a hit, things happen. That was a good 0-2 pitch.
1-2 delivery, got him swinging on the breaking ball. That one was actually farther out of the strike zone than the 0-2 pitch had been, but he had him set up, got him to chase it, and now there are 2 down.
I got to give credit to Orr. He's battling. I mean, things happen. You got a couple guys on base, and he just gets tougher and tougher. I can understand why Wazakowski left him in.
That's his 7th strikeout, and now he faces Mike Cervenik, who is 2 for 3. Has hit the ball well tonight. Pitch to him. Little flare off the handle, shallow in left field. That's trouble. It drops in for a base hit. Mike Kumo in to pick it up. The runner going to third is in there safely. Meanwhile, the lead run scored to tie the ball game at 3 as Jared Pitney came home. And around to third, Henderson, good attempt to get him at third base, but he made it in there. It's an RBI single for Mike Cervenik, who is now 3 for 4 in the ball game. And that was not a hard-hit ball. He got hands, and he was just able to sift it out into shallow left field.
And that is very frustrating as a pitcher. I've been through that several times, and it's tough because you throw a good pitch, you get on the hands, and he just shoots a little flare to left, and it's a hit in the books, but you're just disappointed because you know you threw a good pitch there.
Classic aluminum bat hit, and I'm sure all pitchers and pitching coaches, they see one like that, all the happier that the rule was voted in today where they are going to reduce some of the potency of aluminum bats in college baseball. That will go into effect 1 year from now for the 2000 season. Pitch a little bit outside for ball 1. Paul Lockhart has struck out, walked, and hit a foul fly to the right fielder. Takes a little bit low, 2-0. The go-ahead run at third base for Kenai. And the 7th inning is often big. From then on, just statistically, it's always harder to come back when you trail after the 7th. Once you reach that point, it's rare somebody comes back from a deficit. Drive deep to right center, long run for 4. He's not going to get there. Over his head and off the wall. The runner from third scores. Here's the runner from first coming around. Cervenik will score. It's a 2-run double for Paul Lockhart, and Lockhart continues to drive in big runs for Kenai. His 9th and 10th of the tournament. It gives his team the lead at 5-3. Orr that time falling behind 2-0, and he has been a much different pitcher when he's been ahead. That time he had to come in, and Lockhart drilled it into the gap in right center.
Again, I'm still kind of surprised they didn't go with Troutman with a fresh arm, but Then again, Orr has battled the whole game, and that was a pitch that was up. He got behind, like you said, and when you get behind, you know, college hitters sit on the fastball, and that was a pitch that was away, and he drove it in the gap, and there's a lot of room to roam in that outfield.
Traditionally, this is such a dangerous game for the undefeated team in this tournament. It has been tough to get by this game year after year, and now the El Dorado Broncos find themselves in a situation where they trail 5-3 in the bottom of the seventh. They have been a very good late-inning team in this tournament, and so the whole thing now is to hold things down a little, get it back under control, and in the bullpen, Steve Linhard loosening up a little bit as Mark Wasikowski came out to the mound. And Linny started in, wasn't sure if he was supposed to come in or not. Looks like they are going to make the change here. So Steve Linhard will come in and update just announced over the public address system in El Paso. The Wranglers leading again, 6-5 in the sixth over the Diablos. A win would push the Wranglers lead to 10 in the second half. Nice hand for Ben Orr as he comes off, and we'll be back in a minute. Steve Linhard making his third relief appearance of the tournament, and in two previous outings, 2 1/3 innings, 3 hits but no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts, an ERA of 0.00. Linhard has pitched the last couple of tournaments for the Wichita Alumni Sluggers, and then was picked up after the Midwest Regional by the Broncos for his experience, and he's been used as kind of a stopper in a middle situation to get them through a transitional period in the game and into the later part of the game with their short guys. And last night was one of those situations. Came in and pitched a scoreless inning, got a double play ball on the first guy's face, got a strikeout to start the next inning, and then after a runner reached on an error, the Broncos went to Phil Seibel, who closed it down for the win. Linhard will face, well, it would have been Chris Circuit as the DH, but Kenai appears to have a pinch hitter send up there. Actually, Circuit swings around to the left side, a switch hitter, so a good guy to have in that spot. Takes a breaking ball for a strike. Chris Circuit from the right side, a fly to right, and 2 pop-ups to the catcher, 1 on an attempted sacrifice. He has another insurance run out there at second base in the person of Paul Lockhart with 2 down. Kenai now leading 5-3 in the bottom of the seventh. Linhard, long look, the pitch. Popped up, back this way, another play for Elliott along the third base side, and makes the catch for the out. The third time tonight that Chris Circuit has popped out to Terry Elliott behind home plate, and that will end the inning. But for Kenai, their first lead of the ball game, 3 runs on 4 hits. There were no errors, 1 man left on base. As we go to the 8th, it's now Kenai 5, El Dorado 3. The El Dorado Broncos, they have fallen behind for the first time in the ball game, 5-3. Jeremy Troutman leads off the top of the 8th, and Andy McCullough's first pitch is low for ball 1. Troutman 0 for 3 tonight. 2 ground balls to the first baseman and a strikeout sandwiched in between. McCullough's pitch fouled back behind home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeremy Troutman, Dave Bacani, and Greer Jones hitting 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup, so certainly some guys that you'd like to have up there to try to get something going. The Broncos need 2 to tie. Right-hander McCullough throws in the dirt, 2 balls and a strike. And this is where some of these veteran guys can really come in handy. It's good having guys like Troutman and Greer Jones up in an inning when you are trying to come from behind in a ball game.
Experience, you know, that they know how to win. They've been through it. You know, it helps.
2-1, fastball just outside, 3 balls and a strike. McCullough has pitched an inning and a third in relief of the starter Kenny Baugh. He has allowed 1 run on 2 hits. The 3-1 hit hard and to the second baseman. Little flip to first for the out. He hit that ball sharply, but straight down first, and then it took a big, high, long bounce, almost like a soft line drive, out to Henderson at second, and he throws him out.
Troutman had a good pitch to hit. They had in the count 3-1. Fastball where he wanted it, just got on the ground right at the second base. Bad luck on that play.
That took a lot of the steam out of it as it hit the turf on that first hop. Now Dave Bacani, big high chop up the middle. The shortstop to his left, and Candelaria boots it. Bacani is aboard. Candelaria's 3rd error of the ball game.
You know, most fans here in the stadium would think that's routine, and, you know, he makes that. But play where it hits the cutout in the dirt, and it looked like it came up a little bit. He maybe took his eye off it, but he's been struggling tonight. And And that's the last thing you want is a ground ball that comes off that dirt because it does anything. And he's had a tough night. Broncos need to capitalize here.
Now Greer Jones, and the first pitch to him, a called strike. McConney stole a base easily his last time aboard. We'll see if he's looking to run here to stay out of the double play and get into scoring position, but you also don't want to take the bat out of Greer Jones' hands. Even on a night when the ball's not carrying real well, he can tie it with one swing, and a line shot just over the pitcher's glove and into center field for a base hit. McCullough's upset with himself. He thought he should have gotten that one, but it was a good reaction play on his part. He just didn't quite get it up fast enough.
That's one of the toughest things for a pitcher is the ball right at you, because the first thing you normally do when it's hit at you is you flinch. And once you flinch, then you kind of stick your glove out and you stagger at it. And once it goes by, you realize, God, if I focused on it, I could have caught it. But it was hit hard enough. I don't think he would have had it if he tried.
He made a good play on a similar ball hit by Kevin Hooper to end the previous inning. That ball was hit even harder. And now here is Sam Scott with first and second, one out. Takes a strike on the outside corner. Great opportunity for the Broncos to get right back in it, trailing 5-3 in the top of the eighth. They have only had 5 hits on the night. Color ready? Go one, high and outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. This is a pretty good matchup. McCullough pretty much a power pitcher, and Scott a good fastball hitter who's a pull hitter primarily. Right-hander ready, the 1-1, foul straight back. Scott a little unhappy with himself. He got a pitch up a little bit, and he got under it just a hair and fouled it back to the screen. I think he'd like to have another cut at that one. Getting started with a ground ball to second by Jeremy Troutman. Dave McConney reached on a bobble by the shortstop, but Greer Jones has singled to center. First and second, 1 out, the pitch. Fastball high, 2-2 now to Sam Scott. Sam is hitless tonight. He has hit a double play grounder to the second baseman, slide to left, then walked his last time up. 6 for 19 in the tournament with 3 runs batted in. The 2-2. Foul off the end of the bat, sprays that one over the Kenai dugout on the third base side. And the count will stay right there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, earlier this evening, a great last-ditch rally by Nevada. They scored 3 in the 8th to get within 6-4, then scored 3 more in the 9th. The last one on a close play at the plate on a base hit with 2 outs. This one's way outside, 3-2. So Nevada at 5-1 is now in the semifinal round for the second straight year. They finished second a year ago. And in a good showing, Clarinda, its best showing of the 90s, finishes in a tie for 5th at 4-2. The 3-2, bounce to the right side, got a chance by Greer Jones off the glove of the second baseman into right field. McConney in to score. Jones goes to third. The Broncos have cut it to 5-4, and the tying run is 90 feet away with 1 out. A pretty good effort by the second baseman Henderson to keep that ball in the infield, but it ticked off his glove, and then Greer Jones, who had actually slowed up to deke the second baseman a little bit, got all the way around to third anyway.
Well, what happened was when the second baseman tipped it, it kind of went sideways on the right fielder, and if he wouldn't have tipped it, I think Jones might have held up at second, but once he tipped it, it slowed the ball down, and then Greer saw it going sideways, and he had an opportunity to get to third, and he did. That's a great heads-up play by Jones to get to third.
This Bronco team has been playing with a lot of confidence throughout the tournament, and you kind of see it again. Big guys stepping up and getting big hits for them. And now Quinn Cravens is going to pinch run for Scott at first, certainly one of the fastest Broncos base runners. He is the go-ahead run, and they would like a guy over there who has the potential to get around and score on an extra base hit, or could possibly steal a base to get you out of the double play situation. Terry Elliott up there has hit the ball well in the tournament, but is a slow runner and a good double play candidate.
That is true, and if there is a ground ball, Quinn's going to need to come in hard and to break up the double play. But Mike, the thing I noticed this inning with McCullough is his off-speed pitches, he's not throwing them for strikes, and he doesn't look like he has much confidence. If I was Terry, I'd sit on the fastball.
Gets an off-speed pitch inside for ball 1. 1-0. Elliott has grounded to second twice and has walked 0 for 2 in the ball game. Had a little conversation with Mark Wasikowski before he stepped in. Stretched by the right-hander. And the 1-0. Runner goes down through the right side. And Greer Jones had to hang up. He started down the third base line, decided not to come home. Cravens moves to second with 2 down, but Elliott is retired to the first baseman unassisted. He hit the ball too much right at him. A faster runner, if it had been Hooper or Bacani or someone, they probably would have come home, but probably a smart play for Greer Jones not to try it.
The ball's hit so sharply that, I mean, one hop right to the first baseman. So if Greer even had a thought of going home, they would give him a rundown. So in essence, it's probably a smart move having Greer at third, because now you have him at third, and you have Cravens at second. Base hit scores 2, and you can take the lead right here on a base hit.
And Mike Kumo is the guy who will try to deliver. Meantime, a conference at the mound for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers. And we haven't really mentioned too much about this, but these are two of the really successful teams in recent years in this tournament. The El Dorado Broncos have won championships in 1989, 90, and 96. Finished second in 1987 and 1994, and the team they finished second to, the Kenai Peninsula Oilers, in 94. Kenai won back-to-back championships in 93 and 94 and have finished no worse than 4th in any of the last 5 years. There's a grounder up the middle, got a chance, through Candelaria, base hit into center field. 2 runs are in as Quinn Craven seeks to throw home. It's an RBI single by Mike Kumo on the first pitch, and the Broncos go back in front 6-5. This team has just kept coming back. They have been a great late inning team in this tournament, and Mike Kumo didn't waste any time. First pitch, he grounded it up the middle. Candelaria made a dive for it behind second. About the only chance he had was to hold the lead run at third if he could have cut it off, but he couldn't quite get it, and it's a big 2-run single for Mike Kumo.
Great at bat for Kumo right there, because one, McCullough has struggled with the off-speed this inning. He's not throwing it for a strike. He knows McCullough's going to have to throw the fastball to get a strike. First pitch fastball, took it up the middle. Great piece of hit by Kumo and take the lead.
A big 3-run inning for the El Dorado Broncos. And they have gone in front 6-5. We're going to get a pitching change for Kenai. The Broncos back in front, and we'll tell you about the new pitcher when we come back in a minute. Pitcher is right-hander Vince Pistilli out of the University of Michigan, where he will be a sophomore this coming spring. Used sparingly by the Wolverines as a freshman. He made 10 appearances, started 4 games, was 1-1 with a 12.63 ERA. This summer for Kenai, 10 appearances, just 15 1/3 innings, 1-3 with 1 save, and an earned run average of 5.17. So without meaning to denigrate him, he's one of the guys farther down on the staff for Kenai, not one of the people they normally go to in prime time, but getting late in this tournament, they're having to go a little deeper into their bullpen tonight, and they're hoping that he can hold the fort at least for an inning or so here, as the El Dorado Broncos have come back from a 5-3 deficit to regain the lead 6-5 here in the top of the 8th. He will be facing Jason Espito, who has already homered twice in this ball game. Espito is now 12 for 21 in this tournament with 4 home runs and 9 runs batted in. He has scored 11 times in 6 games. A right-hander facing the left-handed hitter with a runner at first in the person of Mike Kumo and 2 outs. First pitch as they try to stem the tide now. The Broncos bouncing right back after giving up the lead for the first time tonight. Still to come, the Liberal BJs and the Dallas Sox. That's going to be a pretty late start. The ground ball right back to the pitcher. Got jammed a little bit, little one-hopper back to Vince Pistilli, and he throws to first to retire the side. But the El Dorado Broncos pick up 3 runs on 4 hits. There was 1 error that made all of the runs unearned, and there were 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The score now reads El Dorado 6 and Kenai 5.
Horton's
A couple of big events just announced here at the ballpark. We'll tell you about one of them when we get just a moment, but Scott Candelaria is ready to lead off the bottom of the 8th for Kenai. Steve Linhardt's first pitch to him, little soft liner through the hole into left field for a base hit. Linhardt faced 1 hitter in the 7th and retired him on a pop-up to end the inning. He now stands to be the winner in the ball game if the Broncos could stay in front. He gives up a leadoff single to Candelaria, who's now 2 for 4 on the night, 9 for 21 in the tournament. Candelaria continuing to hit over 400, but continues to struggle in the field. He has made 3 errors tonight, bringing his total to 6 in 5 games, or actually 6 games in the tournament. The batter, Phil Downing, the center fielder. He is lined to left, walked, and struck out looking. 0 for 2 tonight. Just 3 for 16 in the World Series. Again, no action in the El Dorado bullpen, so we would expect that if they go to the pen, it will be Jeremy Troutman out of right field. A bunt attempt popped up to the third baseman. That is twice tonight that Kenai has failed miserably to get a sacrifice down, popping it up in the air, and Jason Espedo put it away.
The little things that come back to haunt you, just getting the bunt down. You get the bunt down there, you get the guy in scoring position, you have 2 outs to try to get him home. And that's, again, that they're struggling to do it, and it's going to come back to haunt you. And if they lose that game, they've had their chances. And that is really a pivotal point in the game where you need to execute.
Now Mike Seastead, who's had a huge night for Kenai, takes low and outside for ball 1. Seastead lined a homer to left in the third for Kenai's first run, tied the game with a sacrifice fly to right in the fourth, and then singled and scored to start the big rally in the seventh that produced 3 runs and the lead. The pitch to him, check swing and a foul over the first base dugout up into the stands, 1-1. Seastead officially 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored and 2 runs batted in. It was just announced on the public address a moment ago that Bob and Virginia West are celebrating their 49th anniversary here at the ballpark tonight. Tremendous Shocker fans and big El Dorado Broncos fans, and congratulations to them. In fact, there's Virginia next door. Great people. Congratulations. And the pitch to Seastead was outside, 2-1. 1 out, a runner at first. That's the tying run in the ball game for Kenai. Steve Linhard's pitch got the inside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Linhard, the former Oklahoma State pitcher, more than a few years ago. He's another one of the veterans, pitched at Oklahoma State through 87, so he's in his early 30s now. Not overpowering, but really knows how to pitch. Throw to first base, the runner back, pitched up to the Double-A level in the San Francisco Giants organization. This is a guy who's been around a little bit, was all-tournament here in the NBC World Series 2 years ago for the Wichita Sluggers. 2-2 count. Pitch on the way, and a pop foul out of play to the right. Had him out in front on an off-speed pitch. Little end of the bat, pop foul. Linhard's the guy that'd be a little bit deceiving for hitters because he's a great big guy and yet doesn't throw as hard as he used to. 6'4", 235. You're up there looking for gas, and he'll kind of keep you off balance a little bit. 2-2, just a little bit low and outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. This is a little different situation for Terry Elliott, too. He's been working with a lot of young guys who he didn't know prior to just a week or so ago and wasn't familiar with. He has caught Linhard quite a bit for the Sluggers over the last couple of summers. 3-2 pitch. See if the runner breaks here. He does not. And a pop-up foul. It's going to get out of play again. Greer Jones will give it a look, but that's over the box seats and up into the reserve seat section here at Lawrence Dumont on the first base side. Seastead hanging in there with the count 3-2, trying to keep basically a perfect night going for himself. Catcher out of the University of Michigan. A senior to be this spring, 27 games, just 17 starts, but hit .313 with 1 home run. 3-2 again. This time the runner goes. A chop toward third. Espedo is left, cuts it off. Throws across in the dirt. Greer Jones digs it out for the out. What a play by Greer Jones at first base. Kenai's going to argue that the runner was safe. They feel that the runner beat the throw. It was a very good pickup by Greer Jones, nevertheless, as Espedo took a quick look to second, caused him to hesitate a little bit and rush the throw a little to first. The argument by the Kenai coaches is going to fall on deaf ears, as you might have expected. And it looks like that's going to do it for Steve Linhard. The tying run now at second base. A left-handed hitter coming up in the person of Jared Pitney with 2 down. And so they are going to go to Jeremy Troutman to try to finish things on the mound. Troutman making his first pitching appearance of the tournament. Steve Linhard will get a nice hand as he goes off. Another solid middle relief performance for Linhard. And if the Broncos can hold the lead, he'll be the winner tonight.
Outstanding. He's done a job. Comes in, gets out. He's given up a few singles, but nothing's hurt him so far. This is Jeremy's first outing in a while. And, you know, the first thing you wonder is if he's rusty. And knowing Jeremy like I do, he's basically stayed sharp in practices, the non-game situations. I know he's been doing his bullpen. So I expect him to come out and be sharp tonight. But, you know, he hasn't had an outing in over a week. And you always want to wonder how sharp will he be? So it's going to be a test for him tonight.
Troutman, as a pitcher this summer, tied for the league lead in saves in the Jayhawk League with 5 and had a 1.37 ERA for 16 2/3 innings in 13 appearances. He'll be facing Jared Pitney unless we see a pinch hitter, and Scott Moore may pull out the stop. Kenai a little bit short-handed because of the injury to Ken Harvey, who's normally their cleanup hitter and first baseman. Pitney has been playing instead of him. And I see Nick Lyon getting a batting glove on. He's a right-handed hitter who's done some DHing in the tournament. And so it looks like we may see a right-handed hitter come up to face Troutman. Meanwhile, because Troutman has come in to pitch, Quinn Cravens, who pinch ran in the designated hitter role for Sam Scott, now enters the ball game as the left fielder. And that moves Mike Pumo from left to right. Troutman will now have to bat as the pitcher, and should he exit, whatever pitcher comes in will bat in the number 2 spot in the El Dorado order. That's a long way down the road and a lot not necessary to worry about right now. We are going to get a pinch hitter, but it will be Trent Pratt, the backup catcher. This is a youngster who is just out of high school, a freshman to be at Arizona State. Pratt in the tournament has had 8 at-bats with 4 hits, a 500 average with 1 run batted in. Takes a strike from Troutman, nothing in 1. The Kenai Peninsula Oilers, with 2 out in the bottom of the 8th, have the tying run at second base in a 6-5 ball game. 0-1. Tried to check his swing. Did he go or not? They're going to appeal it, and they say he did not. Count levels off at 1-1.
Mike, with Troutman, the traditional thing is if you bring a lefty in, to bring the right-hander up. But Troutman is, I think, more effective on a right-hander because his curveball is sharp, breaks in like that pitch, and then his fastball tails away. I think he's more effective against a righty.
1-1, a roller to the right side, and it's going to squeeze through into right field. Pumo charging the ball, but he won't have a chance at the plate. The run scores, and it's tied up. And again, just some bad fortune for the Broncos. That was a good pitch in on the hands of Pratt. He kind of inside out of the ball off the handle and placed it perfectly on the turf between first and second. Just rolled slowly into right field.
Yeah, just found the hole. The hole is between first and second there, and he found it. It was a good pitch by Jeremy. In on his hands, like you said, Mike, and, things happen. The aluminum bat, all you need to do is find a hole, and if you can get it through there, things happen for a reason, and they got through.
Trent Pratt with the RBI single is tied up at 6, and a strike call to Brad Henderson, who is 2 for 4. That run is charged to Steve Linhart, and he will not figure in the decision at all. It's now Troutman's game. The 0-1 hit off the handle, but fairly deep to left. Quinn Cravens getting back on it and makes the catch almost at the warning track. That ball was way in on the handle of Brad Henderson, and he almost got it to the fence in left field. So the side retired in the 8th, but we go to the 9th. Nothing has been settled. 1 run. After 8, we start fresh. Broncos 6, Oilers 6. For the Kenai Peninsula Oilers, Jude Volz out of the University of Mississippi takes over at first base defensively after Trent Pratt pinch hit for Jared Pitney. Kevin Hooper up there to lead it off for the El Dorado Broncos, and Vince Pistilli continues on the mound for the Oilers. And a bouncer to short, Candelaria charging, throws to first and gets the out. Kevin Hooper going after a first pitch, grounds out short to first, and he is 0 for 5 in tonight's ball game. With that rally to tie it up in the bottom of the 8th, the Kenai Peninsula Oilers have now collected 11 hits in the ball game. They've out-hit the Broncos 11 to 8. Jeremy Troutman up there looking to help himself win his own game now, as he is the pitcher of record, 0 for 4 in this one. Takes high and outside for ball 1. Troutman and Hooper came in a combined 15 for 38. Not quite 400. Tonight they are a combined 0 for 9 at the top of the order. Foul back, and it's 1-1. Troutman has had a great summer for the Broncos. The Jayhawk League is 61 at bats as a part-time player in 19 games. Hit .344 and drove in 13 runs. Takes high and outside, 2-1. I don't know if any of the scouts will be impressed enough to give him a shot or not, but you'd love to see him get picked up and get a chance somewhere. The 2-1, high, ball 3. Again, Pistilli is not a guy who's been one of the main go-to guys in the Kenai rotation or the bullpen, and they've got two guys throwing, so his margin for error is thin. A high pop-up down the left field line could be playable in foul territory. It will fall out of reach. That would have been the Brent Chemnitz three dudes theory, except only two of them went after it. The third baseman, Cervinick, stayed in place, and the shortstop and the left fielder both ended up equal distance from the ball as it fell safely. 3-2 to Troutman. Jeremy trying to get something started with one out in the top of the ninth inning. The game tied at 6. This one has seesawed back and forth a little bit. Each team has scored 4 runs in their last 2 at-bats. Low and inside, ball 4. Jeremy Troutman draws the one-out walk. That's a potential go-ahead run. First walk issued by Pistilli, 4 tonight for Kenai pitching. This was a 2-1 game. The Broncos leading into the 4th when Kenai scored to tie it. Now we could see a pitching change. Here comes action from the Kenai bench once again. 2-2 then through 6. The Broncos took the lead with 1 in the 7th, but Kenai came right back to get 3 in the bottom half and go out in front 5-3. The Broncos answered with 3 to take the lead in the top of the 8th, 6-5, and then Kenai has come back to score and tie it back up. And we're going to get another pitching change, a right-hander for the Oilers. This will be the 4th pitcher of the night. So Pistilli officially goes 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit and a walk. So far he has not been charged with any runs, but he is responsible for the runner at first base. And the new pitcher will be Gerald Whitekiller out of the University of Arkansas. He'll be making his 2nd appearance of the tournament. Actually, his 3rd appearance of the tournament. 2 previous outings, 3 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, but both unearned with 1 walk and 1 strikeout. No decisions or saves. His ERA at 0.00. Whitekiller will be a sophomore at Arkansas. He is from Tahlequah, Oklahoma, and as a freshman, didn't see much action on an NCAA tournament team. Just 6 appearances, working 6 innings, and had an ERA of 10.50, giving up 8 hits and 7 runs in those 6 innings. He did have a 2-1 record. He's gotten a lot of work for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers this summer. 15 appearances, 5 starts, 3-2. He has led the team in saves with 5 and has earned run average 2.31 coming into the tournament. So he's had a good, solid summer, and they are calling on him to fill the role that he has pretty much maintained all summer.
You know, later in the game, they're going to go to their go-to guys, and you know, right now it's the battle of the bullpens, and you have to favor El Dorado because everybody in the bullpen is basically fresh. You know, Brian Mossenbogger that threw outstanding for El Dorado hasn't even played yet. So you got guys that if it gets late, you know, late in the game, extra innings, El Dorado is fresh, and then Kenai, they're using guys they've used every day. So you have to favor El Dorado in this situation.
It appears that Mike Garner, who pitched a shutout earlier in the tournament and who I would have figured to be the Kenai starter tomorrow if they get there, throwing a little bit in the bullpen, so they'll go to him if they have to, try to stave things off. And the first pitch to Dave Bacani, high for ball 1. Bacani struck out his first 2 times up, then laid down a bunt single and stole a base in the 6th, reached on an error by the shortstop, and scored in the 8th. Jeremy Troutman first with 1 out, the pitch. Fastball high and away, 2-0. And they better keep an eye on Troutman. Not a fast base runner at first, but a smart base runner who knows how to read a pitcher and get a lead. He has 3 steals in 4 attempts in the tournament. Working his way off of there, the pitch to the plate. He bluffs, didn't go. A little pop-up, shallow and right. That could be trouble. The right fielder with a long run. It will be caught on a diving catch by Jeremy Johnson. His 2nd outstanding catch of the night. He made a play earlier going into right center with a headlong dive to rob Lou Ford of a hit. And that time on the little blooper, it looked like a hit all the way, and he made a dive right at the last instant and picked it off.
Most right fielders would not make that play. That was a beautiful play. He ran a country mile to get to the right field line, and then dove with that ball slicing. That's one of the toughest plays running full speed, and just an outstanding play in a crucial time in the game.
And now Greer Jones and a swing and a miss on an off-speed breaking ball for strike 1. Greer was out in front on that one. Greer has had a great tournament. He is 1 for 4 tonight with a run scored. He has driven in 10 runs for the Broncos in their previous 5 games. He'll take an extra base hit right now to get Troutman home from first with 2 down. The pitch, breaking ball low and outside, 1-1. Again, not only is Greer Jones a very good hitter, but he's a veteran. He's played pro ball. He's been through a lot of these situations, and so he'll know how to keep his cool up there, maintain his composure, try to get something good to hit. Little step-off fake to first by White Killer. That's a move we saw the Arkansas pitchers use this season in a couple of matchups between the Razorbacks and Wichita State. The 1-1. And a little looper into left field. That'll drop for a base hit. Greer Jones comes through again. Troutman has to stop at second. And it's first and second with two down for Quinn Craven, who just entered the ball game as a pinch runner for Sam Scott back in the 8th inning and eventually scored a run, and now is in the ball game in the outfield, and they're going to play it to the hilt. They're going to go to the bullpen for Mike Garner, the left-hander, to face Cravens here. Quinn Cravens has had kind of an all-or-nothing type of summer. Overall, his numbers are pretty good for the Broncos. In Jayhawk League play, he hit .303 with 4 homers and 23 runs batted in 37 games. However, he has averaged a strikeout every 2.7 at bat. So it seems like he either puts the ball in play and gets a hit, or he doesn't make contact. Mike Garner, coming off an outstanding effort in his first outing in the tournament. He shut out the Liberal DJs back on August the 8th. A 4-hitter going the complete distance in a 9-inning ball game. He allowed the 4 hits, no walks, and struck out 5 in a 4-0 Kenai victory. Now he's trying to nail one down in relief. And should he just face a hitter or two, they've already got another left-hander throwing. They might still come back with him as a starter tomorrow night if they are, of course, still playing tomorrow night.
You know, the dangerous thing that Kenai's doing is to bring Garner in now. You know, he's their starter for tomorrow. I understand that they need a win tonight, but you know, they're throwing guys a third of an inning. I mean, if this game gets late, they might have to throw a position player because they're going to run out of guys quickly. And the thing about it is, El Dorado has guys off the bench. They're going to pinch hit here for Craven. So you know, the situation lies that you can't go situation after situation, lefty on lefty. You just need to go with who you got. And if they go with Garner, they might have to go with Garner for a few innings because that's basically they're really thin in the pen.
Mike Garner, the 5th pitcher of the night for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers, coming on here in the top of the 9th. He's the 3rd pitcher of the inning. And now, instead of facing left-handed hitting Quinn Craven, he will face right-handed hitting Ovid Valentin. And Valentin makes his first appearance of this year's NBC World Series, but he has been with the El Dorado Broncos throughout the summer. A junior to be at Creighton, he hit .283 in 35 Jayhawk League games with 2 triples and 2 homers, but he strikes out every 3+ at bats. So another kind of all-or-nothing guy, but he does that from the right side as opposed to Craven swinging from the left side, and he takes the breaking ball inside for ball 1. Valentin, as a sophomore at Creighton this spring, hit .306 in 55 games with 6 homers, 40 runs batted in, also stroked 15 doubles. The 1-0, strike on the outside corner, 1-1. He wore out Wichita State pitching this spring, hitting over .500 against the Shockers. Runners at first and second, 2 outs, top of the 9th, game tied at 6. Mike Garner is pitched to Valentin. Breaking ball, chopped to third. It is a fair ball. No, Bob Homolka says foul ball. Mike Cervenich, the third baseman, I think knew it all the way. He kind of stepped on the bag just as he grabbed it. And I think he knew it was a little bit of a deke on his part. It was a good try, but Bob Homolka really lined it up and made a decisive call right away.
That's a big break for El Dorado. You know, a little tap right to the third base bag. All he had to do was to touch the bag. And from our vantage point, you can't really tell, but Homolka's right there. He made a loud, abrupt call, and he must have made the right call because no one's arguing or disputing the call.
Yeah, I was going to say there was no argument whatsoever. The 1-2 fouled off to the right. Valentin hanging in there. Again, not a good 2-strike hitter himself. He struck out every 5 at-bats this spring for Creighton, every 3.8 this summer for the Broncos. So once you get him in the hole, he is not as good a hitter.
Valentin's weakness is the breaking ball down, and I know Garner has a good one just by what I've seen, so I expect the breaking ball right here.
1-2, that's what he threw, but he missed the strike zone. A little oohing and awing, but that pitch actually ended up almost hitting him in the knees. It did just miss the inside corners. It came across the area of the plate.
You don't want to challenge over with a fastball, and that's the pitch he can hit. he ripped us up this year, mostly on fastballs. When I faced him, he hit me a couple times on fastballs. Off speed is the best way to get him.
Off-speed breaking ball, little chop to third. Now he can run. They'll have to hurry. Cervenik throw. Not in time. He beat it out. He can do that, too. He can motor a little bit. And Orr-El Valentin on a slow chop along the third baseline. A ball not hit well at all. Beats it out for an infield single. Now the bases are loaded with 2 out. And it's up to Terry Elliott one more time.
Roy Hobbs.
He has grounded out 3 times tonight and drawn a walk. 2 grounders to the second baseman, 1 to the first baseman. And this place will go crazy if the Broncos could take the lead here anyway, but now that it's Terry Elliott, it'll be up for grabs, I promise you. Garner's pitch. Fastball high for ball 1. And again, one thing about having a guy like Terry Elliott up there is that you know he'll make Garner throw strikes. If he's willing to kind of flirt with the corners and walk him, he'll take it. It means a run for the Broncos. The 1-0. Fastball, strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike, and I'm sure ahead on the count, Terry was going to take a strike until Garner got one. Jeremy Troutman at third, Greer Jones at second, Orr-El Valentin at first. 6-6, top of the 9th, 2 down. The 1-1 to Elliott. Way inside, gets away from the catcher. Here comes Troutman to score, and the Broncos are back in front. Garner trying to work that breaking ball down and into Elliott, missed in the dirt. It skipped past his feet and back to the backstop. And the wild pitch makes it 7-6. El Dorado. Now Greer Jones coming home. He's safe. The catcher sees that, tossed the ball to the pitcher, Garner, and he was just nonchalantly walking back to the mound, and Greer Jones, kind of inching his way down the third baseline, suddenly took off and scored on a close play. As Garner tried to throw to Seastat, he dove for Greer, but was late with the tag. How's that for a heady play by a veteran player?
Exactly. You talk veteran, experience. He's been through it all. He knows what it takes, and just a heads-up play. I know Mark Wazakowski at third was probably in his ear saying, hey, be ready, and he took off. That's going to come back to be a big run, and just an awesome play right there by Greer.
Time called now by Kenai, and now I think they're arguing as to whether or not time was out. Bob Homolka, I think, is going to ask the base umpires if any of them heard time called. And that should always be done there. Somebody should call timeout, but people don't necessarily always do that. A pitcher and a catcher just kind of used in that situation. Okay, well, you just get the ball back to the pitcher and let's go. And so some discussion as to whether anybody heard time called, and it has to be called to one of the umpires. They have to be aware that somebody had called it. Bob Homolka said nobody called it. Kenai's going to argue. And this could be certainly a controversial play for a long time here at the NBC World Series. But again, just a heads-up base running play by Greer Jones, and we've seen discussions of this in baseball before. You do have to call time to one of the umpires, and apparently, I don't know where Scott Marr is pointing as to where he felt time was out, but that's a situation where time has to be called if you want it after something like a wild pitch or a pass.
Well, they didn't argue it right away, so it mostly it's frustration. I mean, it's something that it happened. They know it's a heads-up play, and they know the catcher's kind of nonchalant it. More than anything, it's frustration, and they're down 2 runs. It's late in the game, and they're in elimination, so I can understand that.
The 2-1 to Elliott, high outside, 3-1. A lot of pressure off Terry now. He was up there with the bases loaded, 2 outs, score tied. Now his team has a 2-run lead, so anything he does here is just a bonus. 8-6, El Dorado. At the top of the 9th, the pitch. High pop-up, fouling out a play to the right side, 3-2 now. And I'm not sure exactly how they have scored the play on which Greer Jones came home with another run, other than there now appears to be a third error up, and I don't know who they decide to give that to. Could be the pitcher or the catcher, either one, for not taking care of business. But Greer Jones scores on an error. Broncos lead by 2. The 3-2 pitch to Elliott. Breaking ball hit hard, but to the third baseman. Short hop by Cervenik, and the throw to first for the out. Elliott hit the ball on the nose, but right at the third baseman. Cervenik went to both knees to make sure he got it. And the Broncos in the 9th pick up 2 runs on 2 hits. There was 1 error. 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the 9th. The Broncos need 3 outs to get to the title game undefeated. They lead it 8-6. Defensively for the El Dorado Broncos, Ovid Valentin is now in right field, apparently, and Plumo has moved back to left after Valentin pinch hit for Quinn Cravens and came up with a big infield single. Leading it off for Kenai in the bottom of the 9th, Jeremy Johnson batting in the 2 spot. Jeremy Troutman's first pitch, a breaking ball for a called strike on the outside corner. Johnson 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. He has tried to bunt his way on and pushed it right back to the pitcher, and he has been hit by a pitch. Takes low and outside, 1-1. Troutman could pick up a win here if he can stop Kenai in the bottom of the 9th. The Broncos leading it 8-6. Stretched by the left-hander in the 1-1. Off-speed breaking ball, got him to swing and miss, 1-2. The El Dorado Broncos, who won this tournament in 1996, coming out of the losers bracket, trying to get to the title game as the undefeated team this time. And another off-speed breaking ball outside. It's 2-2. Johnson's seeing a steady diet of breaking stuff away.
And you definitely don't want to mess around here. Stick with it.
Breaking ball, he got it up and in a little bit, but he hits it in the air to left field, and Plumo is there for the out. That was a mistake by Jeremy Troutman. Terry Elliott set up away, and the pitch kind of hung in the middle of the plate, but Johnson lifted it to the opposite field to Mike Plumo for the out.
Definitely got away with that. I mean, he's struggled all night with the curveball, but the curveballs that he's been struggling with have been curveballs that are down and away, and that pitch was up. He had a chance to see it, and Jeremy definitely got away with that pitch.
Now Mike Cervenek, who's been a tough out all night, 3 for 4 with a double and 2 singles. He drove in a run his last time up, takes low and inside for ball 1. Cervenek would have had another run batted in back in the 3rd when he doubled to right center, but Johnson running ahead of him slowed down and was going to cruise in coming around 3rd, and then Cervenek overran 2nd and was tagged out, and the run never got home. A sharp smash to 3rd. Espedo has it. Throw to 1st. 2 down. Jason Espedo throws out Mike Cervenek, and now it is down to the cleanup man, Paul Lockhart, to keep it alive for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers. And the disputed run scored by Greer Jones when he hustled home. Kenai appealed that time was out, will be academic if they don't score at all here.
But more importantly, if it's a 1-run lead, you know, with this short portion right, anything could happen. Having an insurance run, it pays off big. Maybe not tonight, but in most games.
Lockhart has had a great tournament, takes a strike up around the letters. He is 1 for 3 tonight with a walk. He had a 2-run double his last time up. In the tournament, 8 for 19, a better than 400 average with 10 runs batted in 6 games. Check swing. They're going to appeal it to 1st, and he went 0-2. I was actually a little surprised that Bob Homolka didn't go ahead and ring that one himself. It appeared to be fairly obvious that he did go on the pitch. So Lockhart in the hole now, 0-2. Jeremy Troutman, always a gamer, trying to finish it up here. He is 1 strike away, 2 out and nobody on in the bottom of the 9th. They're stretched by the left-hander. The 0-2, top past the mound, 2 hops to Kevin Hooper. The throw to 1st, the ball game is over. The El Dorado Broncos have defeated the Kenai Peninsula Oilers by a score of 8-6, coming back twice in the late innings to pull this one out, and they will advance to the championship game on Friday night undefeated at 6-0. Kenai down in order in the 9th, and we'll be back with the totals in 1 minute. Bronco fans still celebrating here at Lawrence Dumont Stadium as the Broncos have advanced to the championship game at 6-0 in this 64th annual NBC World Series. A lot of heroes for the Broncos. But Steve, an interesting point that you didn't have a chance to make on the air toward the end of the ball game. Kenai, in a tight situation, goes to Mike Garner, a very good pitcher out of the bullpen, but not a guy who came to the ballpark expecting to be in that role. He was ticketed to be their starter tomorrow night if they got past this one. I guess in this situation, everyone knows that they could be called upon, but when you come in there thinking you're the next night starter, you're 5 deep before they get to you, a little bit different mental outlook than you would have had if you come in knowing you're going to be in the pen.
Most definitely. You know, when you come out of the bullpen, you know there's a chance that you're going to throw that day. You prepare yourself all day for, a night game like this. You prepare yourself all day. You get yourself ready. Whatever you do, you know, you're going to be ready. As a starter, you're saying, okay, I'm going to, you know, let's say he goes out and runs, you know, before the game. He does things to get ready for tomorrow. And when they came down to it, they had no pitching left. With what I saw at Kenai in this tournament, he was basically their ace, their stud, and they needed him. And he looked like he struggled a bit with finding the zone, and it came back. I mean, but you can't expect more out of him because he didn't expect to throw tonight, and that really came up big tonight for El Dorado.
Somebody now is going to have to beat the Broncos twice, and they couldn't be in a much better situation. They now get a day off in between. They already had Nate Robertson set up to come out on Friday night for the championship game if they were there on 4 days rest. Steve Linhart, who they like to go to in the middle, only faced 4 hitters again tonight. He'll get a day tomorrow. Troutman gets a day after hitting in the third. Phil Seibel did not throw today, so he'll have 2 days rest. So their bullpen is going to be well-stocked and loaded. And for that matter, if it would happen to go to a second championship game, as you mentioned, Brian Motzenbacher, one of their better pitchers all summer, hasn't even thrown yet.
Exactly. They are sitting exactly where you want to sit. They have the pitching. Their hitting is coming on. They're doing all the little things. They got behind tonight late, and they showed that they wanted to win. They wanted to come back. You could just tell they wanted this game more than Kenai did. They executed. Kenai did, and it came down to little things. But more importantly, yeah, they just need to take care of business now. They have everything on their side, but they can't have a letdown. They can't lose that first game and must win the second. They're in the driver's seat. They just need to take care of it.
You know, a lot of the Shocker fans listening may wonder what's up with you. Finished your career at Wichita State this spring and had a brief fling with pro ball this summer. And what's your life all about right now?
Well, I'm officially done with baseball. I mean, it wasn't for me. I have no hard feelings towards the game or anything like that. I realized that this wasn't for me. I want to finish school. I'm getting married here in a month, and I'm looking really forward to that. But I have 9 hours left, and I'm a broadcasting major. Hey, how ironic. But I just want to finish, work on school, finish that, and see where my life takes me. But I'm looking forward to it. This is the first time I've ever had the opportunity to watch baseball, and I love it. I've never been to a major league game, and I want to do it. I love fishing. That's all I do, and I'm enjoying life, and I really love it.
Thanks again for your help tonight, and good ball game as the El Dorado Broncos move on in the championship round. The totals tonight for the Broncos: 8 runs, 10 hits, and a big key, no errors. While for the Kenai Peninsula Oilers, 6 runs, 11 hits, and 3 errors. The Oilers, who had finished no worse than 4th over any of the last 5 years, will end up in a tie for 5th this time. Still a very good showing in the tournament at 4-2. And the El Dorado Broncos move on to the championship round. They have won 3 previous titles, and they were also the runner-up twice. So this will be their 6th championship game since 1987, and they will go in as the unbeaten team. Somebody's going to have to knock them off twice on Friday. The winning pitcher in tonight's ball game, Jeremy Troutman, in relief. He pitched a scoreless 1 1/3 to finish it up, although he did give up a run, an inherited runner from Steve Linhart in the 8th that tied it. The loss to Gerald Whitekiller, the 4th of 5 Kenai pitchers. And there were some home runs in this one. There haven't been all that many in the tournament, but Mike Seastedt had a solo home run in the 3rd, his first of the tournament for Kenai. And for the Broncos, Jason Espito continued his red-hot hitting, going 3 for 4. He is now 13 for 22 in the tournament. Hit 2 more home runs tonight and drove in 3. He has 4 homers, 9 runs batted in, and 11 runs scored in the Broncos' 6 games. Other hitting heroes, Greer Jones ended up with 2 more hits and scored twice, including a head-up hustling play to kind of steal a run in the 9th inning that was a big insurance run. Big 2-run single for Mike Pumo back in the 8th inning to rally the Broncos back into the lead after they had fallen behind. So a good night all the way around for El Dorado, and they can now wait a night to see what happens and then be back for the championship game on Friday night. And that game will get underway at 7 o'clock, and it will be a situation where someone will have to beat the Broncos and force a second championship game. Now, still to come tonight, a game that will get underway at 11:30 or a little after. It will be the Liberal DJs against the Dallas Sox. The winner of that will meet the Nevada Griffins tomorrow night in a one-game-only semifinal that also will get underway at 7 o'clock. So 7 o'clock tomorrow night, the one semifinal, the Liberal Dallas winner against Nevada. Ted Woodward will have the play-by-play for you at about 6:45, and then 7:15 is championship game time on Friday night. Brent Chemnitz and I will have that one for you with pregame at 7 o'clock. Been another fun night, another exciting game here at Lawrence Dumont. In fact, 2 great games tonight. In the first game of the evening in the quarterfinals, it was Nevada over Clarinda with a last-ditch rally, 7-6. and the Broncos rally late to beat Kenai 8-6. We'll have more NBC World Series action for you tomorrow night.